just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
What's up, gardeners? Welcome to yet another episode of The Green Room. We've got a really exciting show planned for you tonight, but first, I've got some of the first fruits of this run growing in the grow tent. Let's check it out. Last update, I showed you all how I hand pollinate my eggplant flowers. Well, as a result, we have the first eggplant growing. This variety is called the Little Finger eggplant. It is an Asian variety. They are sweet eggplant that are super delicious. Moving on down the line, we have the first cherry tomatoes of this run. This is the Cousin Martina cherry tomato. It's a beautiful plant. She's really happy. Got lots of flowers. Moving on down the line, this is my favorite plant right now. This is the Mocha Swirl Pepper. It is a sweet pepper variety with variegated leaves and variegated peppers. We've got our first pepper growing, and as you can see, it's already getting its variegations. Can't wait. Enjoy the show, everyone.
Ooh, all right, all of my passionate plant people and garden enthusiasts. Welcome to the Green Room here on Monday night. And also too here, I want to also welcome, I'm not just your co-host, or I'm not just your host tonight. And boy, I'm having fun here already, but I'm not just your host tonight. We also have a really wonderful co-host joining with us tonight as well too. Let's go ahead and welcome to the show our co-host, Natalie from The Fresh Princess, joining us here tonight on the Green Room. Here we are, Natalie, back at it again.
Back at it. Happy Monday, Enoch, and happy Monday, gardeners. I am so excited to be back here with you all tonight. We have an awesome show planned. Tonight, joining us in the Green Room, we've got Joe Lample from Growing a Greener World. I am really excited about this one.
Yeah. Joe is such an awesome gardener. And of course, we all know him from his time on television, doing the Emmy Award-winning Growing a Greener World. But we can find him nowadays at Joe Gardener. And it's really awesome, too, about doing this Green Room show now, Natalie, is that I've had Joe on the show once before, but we had to do a pre-recorded type of interview before. So, yeah. And those don't play out too well live, because the purpose of doing a live show like this is to kind of be able to hang out with you and all of our other viewers who are watching with us tonight. So This is one really awesome thing about doing this new Green Room show now, is that we can invite folks who weren't available to show up for us on our weekend show to be able to come and join with us here on a weekday evening. And and that's why I invited him to be really our first real main guest.
Yeah, start off with a bang. And that's exactly the nice part too, is it's more of a relaxed conversation, and we're gonna have some fun with him tonight. Maybe get some nuggets of information that nobody has discovered yet about Joe Gardener. So I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. Really excited as well too. We're excited to have all of you here with us as well too. Thank you so much for coming back and joining with us here on the Green Room. Now it's our new show. We're just getting this going. This is really fun. So tell me real quick here, we got some other things to get going on though too. But tell me, how did it go last week for you? How did you was this really fun or what?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and honestly, I feel like it was too short. I feel like I had so many more questions for the ladies that we got to chat with, Robin, Shawnee, Katrina. Mm-hmm. It was such a great conversation that I'm looking forward to getting to do this every week. I felt great about it. What about you?
Yeah. And again, too, we do all of these really cool shows early in our weekends, 11 o'clock in the mornings, Pacific time over here on Saturday and Sunday. So, really have fun doing those sort of things. But again, like I said, this is kind of a new thing. We're trying
Yeah.
to do things just similar to what we do on those other shows, but this is a new thing. And so I was really, really excited. It was so awesome to hang out again too with Shawnee, Robin, and Katrina as well too, who are going to be doing our Grow What You Eat segment. You all get to see Shawnee's first segment of our Grow What You Eat segment coming up here in a few minutes as well
Yeah.
too.
And
But
also, shout out to all the replay viewers. If you are taking time out of your day to watch the replay, let
mhm.
us know in the comments that you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch and tune in with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, and definitely drop into those comment section down below if you're watching on the replay too, because we love to hear from you, and we can't wait to hear from you as well. So let us know what you've got growing on. Let us know where you're growing from, or just drop in and say hi if you want to as well. So definitely do that. And also, I want to mention too, we got a roll call coming up here in just a minute as well, a few minutes as well too. And this is where all of you can jump in and get a little shout out here on the show, and just let us know where you're growing from, what you got growing on, and all of that as well too. And we'll give you a shout out here in just a few minutes on the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also if you are here with us live, though, definitely be dropping in there and let us know you're here too, with questions and all of that for our guest coming up as well too later on in the show, because we love to have you all involved with this conversation, right, Natalie? Because this is what doing these live shows like this type of format is all about. Is kind of being able to have a cool variety but interactive show that our viewers can also join in with as well.
Totally. And it's also, in what other setting are you going to get to pick someone's brain like Joe Lampel, right? So ask all
Yes.
your questions, throw them in the chat, and hopefully we'll get to all of them and get to answer everything so that we learn everything that we're here to learn about the guest of honor.
That's right. That's right. And we got like I said, we got a really awesome one coming up here as well for all of you as well too, coming up here. So real quick though, I know I asked you about how everything went last week. We had an awesome show. If you didn't get a chance to check all of that out, everybody go back and check out our first show with Shawnee, Katrina, and Robin and all of that as well too. But how'd your week go since then? I mean, I see
Um,
everything's growing real well there in the grow tent and all of
yeah,
that. So yeah,
it's
how's it been growing?
been a great week. This is where I'm getting to the good part of the grow or the run, so to speak.
Yeah.
Everything's starting to bloom, getting more
Mm,
color in the garden. It's an
yeah.
exciting time. Especially I mean, even when I'm here weekly, I'm sure you probably
Hmm.
see the jungle
Hmm.
growing
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
the days go on. So, yeah, it's been a really good week. I'm excited, a lot of hard work, but it's worth it. What about you? How's your week been?
Busy, busy, busy. I wish I could be doing more as far as what I need to be doing for my garden and all of that. I did get
Yeah.
most of my trays set up for some of my microgreens, so I did
Yeah.
accomplish something at least.
Nice.
But yeah, it's time for me to start thinking about all of the stuff that I need to be doing with my back patio now. We got to get greens out there going. We got to get a lot of stuff going right now. So it's cool season time to be thinking about all that sort of stuff. Our spinach. I want to get some carrots growing this year. I didn't grow carrots last
Nice.
year, so I want to get some of those growing this year. So there's a lot of stuff like that, and onions.
This
I like to get my onions going really a little bit early as well too. So lots of things on the list of things that need to get going in.
Yeah.
But
This time of year, and I'm sure we'll talk more about this when Joe gets here, but this time of year is always interesting when it comes to gardening, right? Because for so
mhm,
long you feel like a period of stagnation, like there's nothing to do, and then all of a sudden February, March hits, and you realize, oh my gosh, I gotta, order my seeds, start my seeds, get my soil ready. Well, I know it depends depending on your climate, but there's a lot of preparation involved during this time, and
yeah.
often it doesn't happen, until the last minute.
Yeah, the last minute.
Yeah.
That's why, again, as far as being just a busy, busy person with all sorts of projects, all sorts of things going on, even in my own personal life. And that
Yeah.
happens for all of us gardeners. We got to find a way to juggle all of our garden passion in the middle of all of this crazy stuff that we got going on. But we do find a way.
Always. My garden will always take priority no matter what. Even if I have a million things to do, garden comes first.
Right, exactly.
which might not be the most responsible thing, but it's how I live my life.
Exactly. There's this one gardening meme I see going around all the time is like, I'm out in my garden to avoid cleaning my house, basically, right?
Yeah,
My
that's
house is
me.
a mess, but my garden's great, you know?
Yeah, that's very true, and yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Right on, right on. Well, all right, everybody. I hope that you all jumped there in the comments. I see there's already a
Yeah, I'm
crazy
checking
amount
out
of
the
awesome
chat here.
comments already,
Yeah.
too. So awesome, everybody. But it is about time right now for us to go ahead and do roll call. Okay, here we are. It's time for roll call here. And everybody, I hope that you dropped into the comments there. Let us know that you're here with us today. And first off, let's see here. I got to find right here. Oh, I don't know. She's in here somewhere. But anyways, let's say hi to Jay Dixon. She's our facilitator. You'll notice in the chat there,
Yeah.
she's dropping in links and welcoming
The
people into
J-bot.
we call her the J-bot around here and all of that. She's joining us from up in Ontario, Canada, and helping us in the backstage and everything as well, too. So we appreciate everything Jay does for us here on the show. Thank you so much for being here. As well, early we had in...
Yeah, we got Riz. What's up, Riz? You've been waiting a while. The waiting is over. We're here.
That's right.
Happy
That's
Monday.
right. Right along with CF Lungs. It's a pleasure to have you here with us as well, too.
Bowtie, I am excited to have you here. I hope you're having a good night.
Right on. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Right on. Here we are. Excellent. Excellent.
What's up, Galaxy Rods? The TFP crew is here. Love it. You guys are the best.
That's right. Showing up, representing. Excellent. That's what we like to see here for sure. Excellent. And we got Robin from Robin Gardens joining us from Chicagoland. Very excited about Garden Guru Joe Lample being on tonight. Woohoo! Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we're looking forward to Joe as well, too.
And we've got So and Tear. Happy Monday. So good to see you.
Yeah. A couple of our contributors for our Grow What You Eat segment. You'll see here in just a couple of minutes. And but we'll see seeing Shawnee's actually. Those will be coming up here soon as well, too.
Yeah. We got Mia. Good to see you, Mia. Thanks for hanging out.
Awesome. And Dusty, great to have you here with us.
And Shawnee. I am so excited for your segment tonight. Can't wait.
Oh, we got Lungs back in there. What's up, Green Rumors? Yeah, Green Rumors. That's
Yeah,
what you
I
are.
like it.
You're Green
Yeah.
Rumors, as well as Farmer Marshall. Thank you for being here, Farmer Marshall. Awesome to have you here. Let's see here.
Hi, Adam. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for spending your time with us.
Yeah, Adam, my buddy from there in Central Point, just right up the road from me here. Good to see you, Eddie. Eddie. Hi, Eddie.
Yeah, hi, Eddie. And Homestead Aquarius. Good to see you.
All right. Awesome to have you here. We got Kevin in there. Great churro earlier today. Oh, yeah, that's right. Jay was on with Gardner Scott earlier today. Gardner Scott did a really awesome interview with Jay today, talking about how she's kind of invented this new facilitation thing that she does, and people are kind of catching on to it and learning and all that sort of stuff.
She does a wonderful job.
Yeah. So it was really great.
Wickershire. Happy Monday. Good to see you.
And Eddie's joining us from North Alabama. Excellent.
Nice.
Great to have you here.
Yeah, present.
That's right. Excellent. Well, everybody, thank you for jumping in there for roll call, and awesome. I guess it's about time now. We did have wait a minute, are we on time now? I guess we are about right? I think so.
It's time for Grow What You Eat, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's time for Grow What You Eat. We had the ladies with us last week. Again, go check out. We had a great conversation with them, but I hope you all enjoy Shawnee's very first segment of Grow What You Eat. She's got a lot to teach you, so be prepared.
Let's check it out.
Your grocery list is the most powerful garden planning tool you're ignoring. Who here keeps buying the same veggie every grocery trip? Now, depending on the season, what are you buying? Let's hear it. Type your answer in the chat or in the comments. Is it carrots? Is it celery? Is it apples? What you eat every single week is one of the best garden planning tools you have. We're going to use it today. We're going to figure this out together. And we'll talk about why gardening is so good for your brain, for your body, and how to overcome the fears that keep most people stuck before we ever put a seed in the soil, right? So, Team Replay, I see you over there. Thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up. What's one food you buy every single week that you'd love to grow at home? I am Shawnee Grows. I garden here in Minnesota, Zone 5A, and I actually grow at a property where I do not live. I have to travel there. I have to plan. It's a bit of a thing. Now, I want to hit on your brain on gardening. Gardening lowers our stress hormones and boosts the feel-good chemicals that help with motivation, mood, mental clarity. Having something alive to nurture rewires your brain for confidence. Every tiny success in the garden literally teaches your nervous system, I can do this. So, what's the one thing about gardening that used to intimidate you? Let's talk about it. I remember being confused about where the plants should go, like who goes where, right? Now, listen, you remember those mud pies that you made as a kid? You weren't just playing around. You were resetting your parasympathetic nervous system. Touching soil flips your body into its rest and digest state. It calms your brain, lowers your heart rate, and makes you feel safe. That's why gardening feels like therapy. Okay, honestly, you're addicted now. Welcome to the club. We're happy to have you. We'll share our seeds, right? When you actually spot that ripe tomato or a strawberry that's ready to pick, your brain fires off dopamine, the motivation and reward chemical. The sight, the smell, even just the anticipation of eating that thing, the taste, it creates a loop, and your brain literally says, do that again, right? Keep gardening, keep harvesting, keep planting, keep picking. That's why gardeners tend to walk the same path multiple times a day, maybe 15 times a day, just to check on things. Your brain loves the hunt. It loves the harvest. It loves the reward. Go ahead and describe the feeling you get the moment you step into your garden here in the chat and in the comment section. I will come back in the replay and read your stories. Now, this is why this next method works so well, because we're connecting our brain, our body, and your life, your daily life. What you eat consistently is what you should grow first. Not what's trendy, not what all the seed catalogs are shouting at you, just what you actually eat. If you buy onions every week, priority crop. Do you eat leafy greens daily? That's a must grow for you. If potatoes show up on your plate 10 times a month, we should be trying to plant them. If you cook with garlic constantly, we should grow a whole bed of it, right? The garden that feeds you is the garden that fits your life. So this is the look at your plate method. We track what's on your plate in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, whatever you can handle. You multiply that by 52 weeks, and that gives you a pretty good idea of what it would take. So let's say your family of 4 eats potatoes twice a week. Each time you use about 4 pounds of potatoes. So in that week, we'll say in a week, our family eats 4 pounds of potatoes. Then we multiply that by 52 weeks. So the 4 pounds of potatoes times 52 is 208 pounds per year. This isn't exact. This is a rough idea, right? Now, I also want you to pay attention, besides the what you're eating and how much. Write down, is it fresh? Is it frozen? Is it canned? Is it dried? Now, if growing that much actually overwhelms you, because that's kind of a big number, and maybe potatoes was a bad example because yum, potatoes, right? Every day. Look locally. Okay, maybe there's a community supported agriculture, a CSA, that you can sign up for and help supplement some of that. Maybe there's a farm locally that grows large amounts of these things, and in season you can buy bulk and preserve it or keep it in a safe place. You know, I am able to buy many pounds of potatoes. They sell them in 50-pound bags. Onions, 50-pound bags. I can get as many dozens of sweet corn that I want. We can buy bushels of apples locally, and there's a strawberry you pick that we can go to in season and pick up as much as we want and preserve it and keep it and eat it fresh. There's more than that here in Minnesota. I just had to find them, right? We just have to make that connection to our community if we can't grow it all. We don't have to grow it all. We don't have to do it ourselves, all of it. You know what I mean? So here's your homework, okay? Take a picture of your plate. We all have our phones with us usually. Your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. Save it. Look at it. If the picture taking doesn't work for you, grab a notebook. Write down what you eat. What veggies show up constantly? How many jars of sauce did you use? How many cans of beans? How many frozen veggies? What is your household actually going through? Some people have the ability to use apps for this. I don't have any suggestions for that, but maybe you know an app that helps you document these kinds of things. And if you want to level up, send this to a friend, the food log, the picture, and get them involved too, or hear what they have to say. In the future here, we're going to talk about what you discovered, and I promise it's going to change how you plan your entire garden, right? So I do want to hear from you. Are you actually self-sufficient in something? Is there a crop that you grow enough of to get you through the year till the next harvest that you no longer have to buy? I would love to hear your story. Now, if you'd like a little help tracking, your meals, your garden goals, I have included a free printable. It's a little worksheet. There is a link in the description. So what it looks like is a little bit of this. It's going to talk about what is the proteins that you're putting on your plate that we could possibly grow. So the list is, examples: beans, lentils, chickpeas, dried peas, cowpeas, nuts. Which form of it are you using? So you're just jotting this down. You can print one of these for a day, for a week, however long you want to play this game. What are the fruits? Were they fresh, frozen, canned, dried? Same. Vegetables, leafy greens. Maybe there were some pantry items, the canned things, the tomato paste, the jarred sauces. What were you grabbing for? Maybe it was pickles or jams. During that week, you're going to look and go, okay, what did we use the most? Most of us are probably going to say onions, right? What was the most used fruit? What was the most used leafy green? You can even keep totals. How many onions did you use? How many garlic cloves bulbs did you use? How many potatoes did you use? There's a notes section, an observation section. What showed up the most, This helps us figure out your priority crops. These are the crops that are going to fit your life and your plate. Okay? So, future lessons here together. What are we going to do? We're going to include your kitchen as your seed vaults. We're going to try some things. We're going to map out our spaces, planning our plate, and more. So head over to Shawnee Grows to subscribe for future educational live streams. They show up after 9 p.m. Central Time at any day of the week. It's a little bit of a pop-up situation based on my life schedule. Now, we do have monthly garden tours when the garden is in action. Right now, it's monthly conversations about subjects that I don't need a whole hour live stream to talk about. I just want to say it, and let's talk about it in the comment section. Our top recent conversations have been about the self-sufficiency garden. And one of the other topics was gardening won't save you, which is a little controversial, right? Head on over there and see what we said about it. And of course, our seed saving basics with Robin Gardens. Now, as we always say, grow every day in every way, and I will see you in the next lesson.
Why wait for the right season to start your garden when you can grow anything you want all year round? This is my indoor garden where I grow all of my own produce regardless of the season. Aeroponically grown food, pesticide-free, all organic. The mission is to inspire and educate others to do the same. Whether you're limited in space or not, an indoor garden can be your reality. Follow along as I explore all the ways to achieve a successful indoor garden. From aeroponic Dutch buckets to vertical grow towers, I experiment with all kinds of grow mediums and varieties. Let's learn and grow together and reclaim our food sovereignty.
Oh boy, what have they done to us? StreamYard.
What happened?
No, they switch the buttons when we go to those videos, so it takes us out when we should be popping back up right there. But anyways, we're back, everybody. Thank you,
back.
Shawnee, so much for cool start to Grow What You Eat. Like I said, Shawnee's like a teacher, man. She's gonna sit you down. She's gonna really, really lay it out for you when it comes down to it. So
yeah, I don't like homework, so thank goodness I only eat one meal a day. Only one picture to take.
right, exactly. All right, real quick, everybody, here before we get moving on today. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what we did this weekend on the show. We had a couple of really great shows this weekend, Natalie. On Saturday, we had our good friend Destin Noack. He's a host of the channel Texas Garden Guy and the Garden Party podcast.
Yes.
So he's really, in fact, Destin was really awesome. We had a cancellation last minute. He jumped right in for us and everything, but he's always such a great guy to talk to. But we also got to meet Sean and Allison from Spoken Garden. They were here with us for our Are You Following Me segment on Saturday. And Sean and Allison are, they have just a great, wonderful story about a couple who's just come together in the gardening world just to kind of team, just as a team going after and teaching people all about really a lot of flower gardening and those sort of things.
Love that.
But just lots of really great stuff that they do there. They invented this little thing they call a little dibbler thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But it has this thing on it where you can measure and gives the depth for different types of seeds. So you don't have to think about it. You just got to dip it in and then put your seed in. But then you can put your seed or scoop your seed with the other end and everything too.
Very cool.
Really cool little invention that they invented together and put out there and everything.
That's so
too.
Fun. That's what it's all about,
Yeah. So you want to go back and that's right. Share. That's what we love around here. But they have a great thing going on there, and you want to go check out that interview with them on our Saturday show. And then for our Sunday edition of the show, we had my good friend Christopher Bransdahl. He grows from the snowy mountains of Norway, and Kang Star. He's the founder of the Pepper Lovers community and Kang Star channel on YouTube. He's been around for many years. These guys were my original live stream cohorts. The very first time I ever had an interaction with any other person on my channel or a live stream was with those guys, Christopher and Kang.
So I'm sure it's always nice to have them back.
Yeah. So we like to get him back every couple of months on the show. Nice. Christopher grows. Okay, so this is the thing. We got to find a way somehow, and it's really tough now that we're in this different time slot because Christopher is deep asleep right now.
Yeah.
It's middle of the night, all that sort of stuff. But we got to find a way somehow to get on and get a conversation with you in there with him as well too, because he has an amazing grow room.
Yes,
he built out this just massively awesome grow room, grows all these sort of just awesome tropicals. He's beautiful. Got in the interview you can see behind him, he's got big old bananas towering over him. He's got these big huge coffee plants and all sorts of just amazing things that you just would not imagine.
Yeah, growing sounds awesome
in these snowy mountains of Norway. And I've even seen it. You think of those cool pictures of Norway you see in the lakes and the little roads going by him and everything. That's where he lives. It's amazing, but
wow.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So right on. And that's what we had going on for our Saturday and Sunday show this last week.
Sounds like a jam-packed weekend full of good guests
Right.
and good conversations.
Lots of great lots of great conversations. We're hoping to have a really great
Yeah.
conversation here real soon. I am
Ready for some more?
yeah, well, I'm hoping here let's see here. I got to actually send out a message here real quick. This is some fun stuff.
Yeah, so we've got a
Yeah,
fun, segment that we're going to try out tonight. And
yeah.
it's going to be a fun way to get our guests kind of, a little uncomfortable before they get comfortable. Little lightning round segment, which is going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got my questions ready to go.
Yeah, this is gonna
And
be this is gonna be real fun. This is gonna be really exciting.
yeah, you all in the chat take notes. If there's something you want to elaborate on or more questions you've got later, keep an eye out
Yeah.
for his answers.
I'll just kind of again, you're not in the backstage with me to be able to see everything, so I do want to let you know, and everybody else know too. We're gonna kind of what they call in the industry vamp a little bit. We're gonna kind of talk and kind of conversate here. As hopefully our guest will be loading up here real soon. Hopefully he doesn't have maybe any technical or issues or running a little late maybe or something. I did send him off a message here, so hopefully we'll get that going here real quick in a minute though. But I did mention everything that I had going on this weekend with my channel and all of that sort of stuff. Tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing with your channel and all of that too.
Yeah, I mean, well, the channel has been obviously growing. We've been, doing some podcasts here and there, which has been fun. Just showing everybody, the ins and outs of indoor aeroponic gardening. Because as we were talking about earlier in the conversation, it's, a little bit of a controversial way to grow, especially for, loyal to the soil gardeners.
Right. But it's still a way to grow, and there's a lot of people, and especially as for me in my channel, we talk about urban gardening, city gardening, small space gardening, limited space gardening, and that sort of stuff. And sometimes, maybe someone only really has the ability to grow in a grow tent, and that sort of thing. So, that's exactly what makes what you do kind of so really fun, cool, and important in a way, is
so
that you got all these,
right now I'm in a phase where it's kind of like a hybrid between I'm going to start aeroponically, but I'm preparing for my outdoor soil summer garden. So every year I've got a cut flower garden, and I ordered some varieties that I've never tried aeroponically: poppies, snapdragons, cosmos. And we're going to try those and start them in the buckets. And then rather than sowing seeds and starting them early indoors, I'll just cut clones and transplants and get them in the ground. So we'll see how that works out for me.
Yeah, exactly. I hope it works really well too. And again, also, I was going to mention too, as you were talking a little bit earlier about, how everything's growing and looking really great. Didn't you just recently kind of have to start over when it comes to doing everything?
Yeah. So I started what you're seeing here, I started everything November 15th. Prior to that, the tent was empty. I had ended my last run. I think it was November 1st or something. Every 6 months or 7 months, it's time to stop, take everything down and clean to the best of your ability. And depending on the condition of things, you can either keep things and, repot them once you clean things, or you just got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And
but
how are we doing back there?
It's got to be a real chore though too. I've seen some of your videos and it's really cool and fun. You do all the time lapses and all that sort of stuff. But I'm sitting there watching these time lapses and I'm like, ooh, that's quite a little project. Putting one of the towers together when you got to break those down and put them back.
Those are the easy part. That's just that's the 20 minutes. It's done. It's just washing it is the lengthy process. But there's always work to do in the garden. Always, if you grow, whether it's indoor or outdoor, there's a million things to do. You're never not busy if you don't want to be. That's right. That's what I love, but I also dislike at the same time, because it cuts into other things because, like I said, gardening will always take priority.
Mm-hmm. Well.
So
I'm not too sure if Joe, what if he's running late or something. I haven't gotten a message back or anything yet.
that's
So I'm
okay.
kind of waiting to hear from him when it comes down to it. Sometimes it's
All
been a
right.
while. It's
Well,
actually been a while since I've had this happen with a guest,
we
actually.
have
So
a little bit of a lightning round planned, but I mean, these questions are catered for Joe specifically. But you know,
yeah.
if things end up a certain way, then we can always, I'll put you on the hot seat and ask you
Right.
some burning
I know, right?
questions. You
Exactly.
know,
Or but what we can really do here too, as well, too, is maybe jump in and get some conversation with our
well,
folks
yeah.
here
What about the
tonight. You know,
chat? What do you
let's
guys
just get
want to know about Enoch? Let's bug Enoch and let's get
or
to know him.
let's bug Natalie too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But
Let
yeah, let's kind of look at, for the moment, everybody, I apologize. I'm not sure if wires are crossed or if Joe is somewhere else, but he could still pop in at any time or something like that. So we'll kind of take it as it goes when it comes to that. Other than that, we'll just kind of have a freestyle show for tonight, and we'll kind of run through some chat and hang out with all of you as well too. So I see we got plenty of folks here too, so I'm sure there's plenty of things that they
Yeah, who's
want to hear.
got burning questions for Enoch? Enoch, what's your favorite plant to grow?
My
We're just
favorite
gonna
plant.
fire questions at you. Let's get to know you a little bit. Get to know our host.
Let's see here. Okay, I get favorite plant to grow. As far as food and everything that I grow are peppers. Everybody knows I love peppers. Peppers are just kind of my thing. What really, when I was getting going and growing, it was just kind of becoming this hobby, and I was kind of having fun with it. But it was like when I got to peppers, that's when I was like really getting serious. Like, okay, what am I doing here? When I'm getting them started. I built like this whole a routine for getting them started and how I grow and do all that sort of stuff that I do throughout the year and everything. So peppers really are still my favorite thing to grow. Definitely.
Do you have a favorite variety?
Favorite variety, I have to say right now, is one that I'm breeding out right now. And I did talk about this with Christopher and Kang yesterday as well too. Christopher sent me this variety of an ahi called Sugar Rush Peach. And this was it was a really popular pepper, and it was really popular several years back and everything. So he sent me some seeds. I grew them out a couple of years, but it was like maybe the second year, maybe the third year that I grew those out, that one of them, and I just say ahi peppers are kind of like long. They got a kind of long pointiness to them.
Yes.
So Sugar Rush Peaches should be kind of this cool peach color, but kind of a long, pointy, not really long. I'd say 3 inches, maybe 4 inches at the most. But I had one that grew where it wasn't pointy. The point was like inverted. It was like a belly button in a way. So
an innie
so
instead of an outie, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. So I started on my own quest, because I've never done anything like crosses yet when it comes to peppers, or trying to really do things like my friend Kang, who was on with us yesterday, Kang Star from the Pepper Lovers. He's made lots of crosses that the pepper community just loves. I mean, he's really popular as far as his different crosses now, but I've never done that. The closest I've gotten to do now is just to take seeds from these buttoned ones, and then the next time I grow them out, the plant grows maybe a few more, and then I'll take more seeds from those buttoned ones and grow them out again. And now I think after about 4 seasons growing in a row, generations, so I guess I'm on F4 or 5 of my own.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hybrid, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
I'm not really a hybrid. It's not crossing anything or doing anything. It's just a breeding. I'm just
cool.
Just breeding out this trait basically, and it is really cool. I hope it'll get to the point where it's most of the plant. I think we're up to about 60%. I think the last plants were about 60% of the plant. So once we get up to about 75-80% of the plant, then that's something I'll be like, okay, I'll start sending seeds out to people.
Yeah, very
cool. They'll
cool.
be our own Sugar Rush.
That's something to be proud of. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
I got another question for you.
Okay, there you go.
You call yourself the urban gardener. We know you as the urban gardener.
Right.
What was the moment where you kind of had that moment of reflection where you realized, okay, I'm a gardener. Like I'm a grower. I'm a gardener. Because everyone first has that imposter syndrome of, oh no, I just grow a couple plants. What was the
Right.
moment you were like, I'm a gardener?
Oh,
Take us back.
yeah, I guess, really, I would have to say, because for me, to how I felt, like I would tell anybody if they were getting growing, and if I was, giving advice or doing that sort of thing, I would tell everybody, once you get growing, and once you start maintaining a plant and a passion, and it's something that you want to continue to do, I think at that point you're really a gardener. Or, at that point you're really doing the work to provide yourself something, if that's the intent, versus, just something you want to do, right? So really just
Absolutely.
getting started and getting going really is, the beginning point of you really becoming a gardener, right?
Yeah.
And um, that's what I would say. But for me personally, as I felt, I'd say like 3 or 4 seasons in, I was like, oh, I think I'm kind of getting the hang of this. The pepper plants were finally starting to look pretty good and everything
Yeah.
too. So I was like, all right, cool. I think I've got it now, and I can call myself a gardener, right?
Yeah. We've got habitual hobbies in the house. She loves the Sugar Rush peach.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
She's
yes, the
got,
sugar. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's I have the seeds too. I think, yeah, I think they're the Sugar Rush peach, but I'll have to
Hmm.
try those. I'm trying a bunch of different pepper varieties right now, ones that I've never tried before. I've got the Marconi Rosso. We were talking about that one recently. I'm
Yeah.
so excited about that one. What's up,
Mm,
Frank? Good to
y-
see you. Cheers.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah. So you get lots and so many, and that's why I love peppers. Though, is there's just so many cool varieties and plants. The plants are awesome as well too. This was the real thing that really kind of got me really hooked on peppers. Was just, for one, like, oh, I want to grow all these different cool varieties, and you're looking at the pods and everything. But then when you start growing the plants and you start learning how different types of peppers grow different ways, and they
Yes.
have their own characteristics as plants. Some are longer and lankier, and some are more compact and bushier, and some take
Yeah.
longer to grow, and some are fast growers. And it's just kind of learning the differences, and playing along with, or it's kind of like having a classroom of different kids or something throughout the summer, right? They're all
Yeah.
doing different things in different, ways and stuff
They
like
all
that. You're just
require different levels of
it's
attention and
exactly
different
in a
levels of
way.
care. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
learning
it's a
that
ton of them.
now. I've got, well, I had a tray full of peppers that I was germinating, and the
Hmm.
labels were on the lid, and the tray fell over, and
Yeah,
obviously all the seeds got away from their labels. So I've got 12 pepper plants, I think, or 11, and I have no
yeah.
idea what they are with the exception of 3 of them. So it's going to be a surprise.
Surprise peppers.
Yeah,
Those are
that's
always
not a way
fun
to
too.
learn.
Those are always fun too. Serena
Yeah.
dropped in a little bit earlier here, Natalie, and says, have you ever considered trying to grow banana, papaya, coconut, orange, or other citrus or pineapple trees, or any, I guess,
So,
tropicals or anything, right?
yeah, I've considered pineapple because it's super easy to grow, and it's very easy to propagate and multiply. I'm just not big on pineapple, so I'll probably try it
Hmm.
at some point. Citrus, I have a lemon seedling fighting for its life, but I'm keeping hope and not giving up. Would love to do like grapefruit, or I'm going to try pomegranate. I've
Hmm.
reserved some pomegranate seeds. I've got coffee. But banana, I mean, banana would be interesting, but I don't think I could accommodate that in here.
Yeah, you gotta,
So for
yeah,
moisture, like, I don't know, I feel like
you'll be cutting the
it's,
top before you know it, because
yeah, and
it's
I'll be
gonna hit
getting
that
maybe
ceiling
like
quick.
mildew or diseases. Like the leaves are so big, I feel like they harbor a lot of moisture, and I don't know
Mm.
how, I don't know how banana leaf plants work. So
To me, I just think they just get so tall so quick, and just they would be fun to grow till you get them to a certain size, and then they start hitting the ceiling, right? And then start growing a little this way and start heading back. Yeah,
yeah,
so you can keep
so
them going, I suppose, if that's what you want to stuff them in
well,
there.
we'll see. I've seen online, like there's certain tropical trees I'd want to try. Like for example, the pomegranate tree, they have dwarfed versions, right? Or you
Yeah.
can figure out how to dwarf it yourself. I don't know how that works.
Hmm.
I don't know if there's a way to do that actually, but we'll have to look into that and figure that out, because there's a lot more space in here that's just
Yeah.
itching to get filled with more plants.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Some other just fun types of plants that you could have on the side there. Yeah, you could fill that up like a little jungle.
Yeah, exactly. It already is like a jungle in here, and you're gonna see in the next couple of Mondays when we're here, it's gonna be this is just gonna be full blown madness. It's
Nice.
gonna be my tomato wall.
Wall of
Oh,
tomato.
we've got CF Lungs asking, Urban Gardener, have you ever grown taters? What's your preferred medium to grow them in?
Taters. Yes, indeed. And I want to get back to this probably in the next season or so. I'm not sure yet, but when I started my channel, and I've been around now, I can't believe it's been 8 years. Is it over 8 years now? Probably on 9 years or something. But those first several years, I was growing potatoes out of big like storage containers.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, and they're really fun. It's really great. The problem is container growing and that sort of stuff can just really be iffy. You know, there's so many times that I would grow and I would take you through the whole thing and then really, you know, the fun with growing potatoes, whether you're growing them in containers or you're growing them in ground too, is you don't know what you get until you're digging them out. Right.
Right.
So there'd be times I'm doing the video and it's like, okay, let's see what we got, you know. So we're tipping these things over, we're digging out through the soil and everything, and I end up only with like a little handful of potatoes out of it, you know. But we
It's
had
the reality.
big beautiful plants and the leaves were just awesome. It's like, oh, and we're thinking we're going to really get something this time, but sometimes that happens.
That's what happens sometimes. I get people all the time asking me, so
Yep.
what are you, just growing foliage? Like, well,
Right.
just, you know, give it time. Sometimes it takes time for the fruit to produce, but I
Right.
understand what you're saying. You're expecting
Yeah,
a
those root
larger
crops
yield.
sometimes. Yeah, you want to,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is it's just a root. The potatoes is more so, but lots of other root crops. I mean, carrots, you can kind of see the tops there a little bit, and the beets and those sort of things. But you know, those potatoes, those tubers are down in there, and you got to pull
You
them
really
out before
don't
you know it.
know.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. So I have had years though too where we grew in the containers and we got big fat monster potatoes and bunches of them and several cool pounds of them, and then there were years where they were kind of iffy. But every time I grow in the ground, and I got a space now where I grow in the ground, and I just kind of really anymore, I don't know if I've actually planted potatoes in it for I think a couple of seasons now, where I
Wow.
planted the first ones a couple seasons back, and then I grew those out, dug up and harvested a bunch of them, and then left a bunch of the little tiny ones behind.
Yeah. Let
And
them
then they
sprout.
grew into all new plants and
Yeah.
volunteered the next year, and then dug up a bunch of
That's
new
a nice
potatoes
part.
again.
So
And
easy.
yeah,
You know?
so they're basically just volunteers anymore for my
So you got a
potatoes.
potato patch.
A potato patch. It's great. It's
Nice.
great. But I
See,
always get good ones out of the ground when I grow in the ground versus the
Good.
container, though.
I'm gonna try them aeroponically and see how they do. And the
It
nice part
would
is
be interesting.
I won't have that problem. I could just lift the lid and take a look under the hood and see how many potatoes do I have. See if it's worth the investment and worth the the work.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent, excellent.
We got
Let's see.
JC saying, I've seen potatoes grow in all sorts of mediums, sawdust, seaweed, etc. As long as they're covered, I myself prefer a soil base. So yeah, JC agrees with you. Soil, ground is the way to go.
Yep, yep. And you know, I just use just like a basic, simple container type of outdoor mix, and sometimes I'll mix up other things. So I don't really have like a general like this is what I would use, because I mix up stuff and I do things different from year to year. And sometimes maybe that's some of the reasons why I get the results I get sometimes. But you know, we put as general of good composted soil into our containers as we possibly can. And I get, you know, I feed with compost tea and do those sort of things throughout the year and everything. I've never tried like doing anything other than, you know, that type of soil mix or in ground though before, but I've seen a lot of other people get success like JC's talking about, you know, utilizing all sorts of other types of things. It's really, you just get them covered and get them in something that's dark, you know, and they just grow. And it would be interesting though too. I'm really interested to see what they would do in a water-based situation.
I know they do well. I've seen people do potatoes. I've seen people do beets, radishes, and even in smaller systems, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I will be trying it at some point. I just kind of have my hands full right now. We got over 100 plants in here.
nice.
Habitual likes my mocha swirl
Peppers, yeah.
Slightly out there for hydroponics veg would you like to give a try, and why?
It's, something a little different. Not,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it wouldn't really be a veggie, but more like seasonings or spices, maybe things like saffron or coffee, like I mentioned, vanilla, things like that would be really cool. Yeah, just things that are unique, and just to see, will it grow? Will it work?
Yeah.
I even have a can of San Marzano fresh, they're just crushed tomatoes, and they have the seeds in them. So I took one of the seeds, and I'm going to try and germinate it and see what happens, see if it works. I know that's irrelevant to the conversation, but it just reminded me of that. I'm
Excellent. Let's
harvesting
see.
seeds in everything I do. Oh, have you ever tried growing strawberry,
Oh
Enid?
yeah. Oh man, strawberries are some of my favorites. Oh, and again too, now we're getting on it. I told you what my favorite was. Now everything else I say after this is still going to be my favorite.
Right? That's the life of a gardener.
Right.
Anything that's the current topic of conversation is the favorite.
Strawberries, again, ease of growth. They're so simple. You can grow them in small containers too, for container gardeners. You can hang them in hangers. You can put them in gutters. You can hang on a fence or something like that. There's just so many ways.
But you
to do
transplant the root, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
So
best.
starting from seed is a little trickier.
Yep.
Well, at least I'm having my own personal strawberry challenges.
Yeah, some of those really delicious, big, juicy type strawberry varieties and stuff, the seed starting isn't very easy. I know alpines, I did grow from seed several years ago and got some started and everything. I didn't care for them, so in the long run, that didn't bother. But
Yeah.
I grow an ever-bearing variety of strawberries, which I recommend mostly because
Yeah, me
that's
too.
instead of like a June berry where you're just only getting like one or so harvest out of a group. You get them throughout
Exactly.
a couple of times throughout the season and all of that too. So yeah, and again too, they just propagate so easily, like you said.
Yeah. That's
They're
my
like my spider plant I got behind here. They
Yeah. Oh
send out
yeah.
these little runner babies, right?
Yeah,
And you
it's
just kind
perfect.
of
You
get
just
them to
plant
root
those.
and get them to go.
That's my goal with the yellow tower behind me, because the plant ports are so close to each other. Start with one strawberry
Oh,
plant
totally.
and
Yes.
put each runner in each plant port. So I had it going my first run, and then I had a pest problem, and I had half the tower filled. I almost succeeded at my strawberry tower dream, and had to get rid of everything. But that's going to be the future plans. I'm also going to try maybe doing strawberries outdoors as well. Be much easier with pollinators and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. I mix compost and peat moss to grow my potatoes in. I may add some worm castings, biochar this year too. I also have azomite if needed.
Nice.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what azomite is. I've never heard of that.
Azomite's kind of like a rock dust. It is a rock dust. Sorry, not kind of like, but it is a rock dust. Azomite, I think, is a specific brand of a rock dust, A to Z kind of minerals. So this is going to put more minerals and things into your soil. But yeah. So some of those micronutrients, more micronutrients that could be helpful.
These all things I need to learn. I gotta step up my game for my outdoor garden this year. So
yeah, when you start getting into soil gardening, there's a whole bunch of fun doing organic soil gardening, and to me, it's what really makes gardening so much fun for me too, is when I got to that point, again, like you were talking about earlier, when did I consider myself a gardener, that sort of thing. I think also too, when I was first getting to understand soil science and what this was meaning for what I was growing, and and I was trying and doing all sorts of stuff. I was just taking advice here, there, and everywhere I was going, and it was it took me a couple of seasons before I really moved towards some of the organic systems that I still use today and everything. But that's really getting a handle of that soil science, making sure we got really good soil life in our soils. And it's just so simple to do by, creating your own compost, if you're making your own compost piles, or finding a way to source really good local compost and those sort of things to do for yourself. Or, as well, what I do too is, like Serena was mentioning, worm castings. I grow my own worms. I've got my own little worm bins and things like that too.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So
I got to start doing a compost bin. I have all my cuttings and stuff when I do defoliation, from inside the grow tent. It would definitely, the only thing is, if you have diseases or issues on these plants, you don't want to introduce them into your soil. They'll transfer, I'm sure. Azomite is,
oh, sorry, I didn't give you
no,
name.
that's okay. I was just reading it. Volcanic derived mineral product mined in Utah, rich in over 70 trace minerals and rare earth elements. Nice.
Yeah. My good friend John Kohler from over at Growing Your Greens.
Yes.
He's a huge proponent of rock dust and putting rock dust into your garden and all of that to really, like I said, you're building up that soil life and all that sort of stuff. And those other micronutrients are going to really do a good job in building that soil life as much as those macronutrients are going to be doing as well.
Yeah. Those things go just over my head, even though I'm learning it on a I guess a more precise scale, because I'm manually adding it in versus adding in amendments that already have all these nutrients available.
We got Frank asks, can you grow pistachio nuts? I'm sure you could, or figure it out.
Yeah,
I've never done
pistachios grow on a tree, I think, right? And that's going to be, in the grow tent, I don't know. At a certain point, I'd have to get it outside, and I think they require a hot climate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Let's see here. Farmer Cass also asks, how long would it take to start from seed? How long would it take to start? This depends
on what you're growing. Certain seeds take longer. If I'm doing tomatoes or peppers, could take anywhere from, peppers can take a couple of weeks to 3 weeks, sometimes even a month to sprout. But tomatoes usually are pretty quick, within a few days. Same with lettuce.
Yep.
Really depends on
larger seed now too. If you're getting into larger seed, you're going to take more and more time again too. It's just really about that seed being able to absorb the moisture.
Zinnias and cucumbers grow, or they sprout like 24 hours. They're already sprouting.
Oh, you know what? I think what we're not getting here, I think we both need to catch up here, Natalie, real quick, is because we were talking about strawberries from seeds.
Yeah, sorry.
So you think that might be what the question is here, Farmer Chas? You're probably asking us, how long would it take to start from seed? I'm going to assume that probably was what it was. We are a little back here on the comments.
I was recently, Bowtie, who's in the chat, is the strawberry guy. Bowtie Life in the Garden. And he was recommending 3 to 4 weeks of cold stratification prior to germination, which takes time. So from seed to get to fruit, 90 days to several months to produce fruit. 5 to 6 months to mature. And the first fruits aren't always the best. You have to, like Jay's note says, let it mature.
Yeah, let it mature. Okay.
Yeah.
Work through here. Okay. Let's try. I was just looking back here because I was going to say, I think I'm a little back on this conversation here because I was just catching up with that right, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm sure they know the.
I know. I've got the chat.
We're the ones who need to catch up around here.
I'm following the chat here on my computer, so.
I'm going to get down and catch up here with it as well. Sorry if I'm missing anything there, everybody.
Thanks so much, So and Tear. Have a great day. Late to the party, but wanted to say hello. What is up, Bohemian Herbology? Good to see you. And sorry if we missed saying hi to anybody. Hope everyone's having a great evening. We are kind of doing a little, if you just joined, doing a little improv.
It is a little improv right now. We think that our good friend Joe, our guest tonight, must have got some wires crossed or some sort of thing that's going on. I haven't seen yet a message back yet too. So we'll have to find out what happened, and maybe, I don't know, I guess we'll have to try to reschedule or something if he is much later than this. I don't know how much more of an interview we'll get in if he's any much later. So
Yeah,
we'll go
that's
on for a little
okay.
bit longer
I mean,
here,
hey,
everybody.
maybe the lightning round will serve the best purpose of all at this rate, right?
I
Like,
know, right?
all we need, Enoch, is 60 seconds at the end, and
Yeah, we got to test it out one way or
I'm just
another, right?
kidding.
We
Yeah,
do
I
got to
mean,
test this out one way or another.
I can ask you the questions, but some of them, because they're catered specifically to Joe and what he's
Yeah.
got going on. But I could try to ask you a few.
Oh, hey, Coach, it's good to see you. Awesome to have you, man. Thank you for being here. Like I said, I'm trying to catch up, and again, too, sorry if I missed saying hi to you at all, because I just went down here. I'm
Yeah, what's up, Sky
If I
Overhead?
miss
Good
saying
see
hi to you, please jump in and so I can try to make sure we say hi to you here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Coach, for being here though too. It's always great to see you.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in the chat trying different. We got pistachios need male or female, 2 different varieties. I don't recall which it is. Interesting. Did not know that. Yeah, you got a lot of plants that have different pollination needs. My last run, I wanted to grow tomatillos for the first time, and they require more than one plant in order to pollinate, similar to corn, right? So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
we got
okay
questions here. Oh, did you get ice too? Yeah, so
let's see. I think, are they still in here? I don't know. Oh, I don't see them in here. Okay.
So tell us what your plans are for this spring, upcoming summer, because I totally think that you and I should do, I'm going to be hosting separate
Some sort of a grow, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a grow along, but
Yeah.
I think between you and I, it could be fun to do a grow along or a grow off. You pick your favorite pepper variety, and you let me know when you're ready. I'll throw it in the buckets. You do it however you're going to do it in your flower bed or whatnot, or your soil bed. And we have a little friendly competition.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me put some thought to that here, and then maybe next week on the show, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about some parameters and what we're going to do, and we'll do something like that. I think peppers are a good idea. I think peppers is a good idea. And I get a chance to try our 2 different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll involve the chat. We'll get people to vote. See who you think's gonna win the grow off. What's up, Bernie? Good to see you. And what's up? Oh, we already said hi to Homestead Aquarius. Just making sure I say hi to everyone in the chat.
That's right. Lex says here too, Chinese 5-color. That's another one of my.
That's my favorite.
That's another one of my favorites too.
Riz knows all about that. We talk about
Maybe
that
we
on
might have to do that
all the time. I've got actually right here.
Although I do have to say though is that I don't think that Chinese 5-color presents any sort of pepper challenge really though. I mean, those things grow so well. They grow so much.
Well,
and they're so prolific and.
I kind of messed mine up towards the end of the last grow, so it is possible. But that is a Chinese 5-color pepper seedling.
You see, you already got a head start.
It just sprouted. Yeah, I've got to have it. So I'm very excited. My mystery box of seeds from Small House Farms, Kate Bay. That is so fun.
Yeah. Bevan was our guest last week on the show. It's our first show back this year in 2026, and he's from Small House Farms, and he was offering out these mystery boxes of seeds and everything that he has.
That's so fun
and stuff. So Shawnee ordered one and has got one too. So I'm excited to hear about, and I'm sure Bevan too later on when we have him on the show down the road, or we'll be excited to hear about how those seeds grow. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so I saw someone mention there's a storm in Atlanta or a massive power outage. So maybe that could be what's going on with Joe. But
yeah, it could be
okay.
Lots of different reasons, lots of things like that can happen, and all that sort of stuff. And we'll just have to find a spot down the road and invite them back in to get it done right. We've had,
no,
it's a live show, and sometimes things happen. And again, this is great point, is that there are people dealing with lots of storms, lots of power issues, and that sort of stuff. We were going to have trouble yesterday with our guest Kang Starr from the Pepper Lovers community being one of our guests, because he's down in Texas, and even down in Texas they were having big massive ice storms and snow, and it was crazy.
Did you see the grocery stores? They were like empty. People were preparing for the worst. It was so funny.
Yeah,
that's another reason why we do what we do. Grow your own food, right?
Exactly. So we can
when
have
things
those
like that happen,
and those things.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. So it's always
gardeners are always a little more prepared, right?
Absolutely. You think I'm crazy now, but when when things hit the fan, you're going to be coming here for some food.
That's right. Gardeners are going to be important. That's right.
Yeah. Habitual says it's like Dalaska, like Dalaska. That's funny.
Right.
Probably have more seeds that square foot per lot. That's funny. Yeah, I've got my seed collection is growing, and I need to find better ways to organize my seeds. Actually, speaking of Joe, I was listening to his latest podcast episode this morning of his Joe Gardner podcast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how the cure for boredom is gardening. And especially during this season, it seems like, and that's what I was saying is, earlier in the conversation that we'll be chatting more about this later with Joe, is that it's one of those times of year where it feels like there's not much to do because it's the winter or, period of rest, winter solstice, or not winter solstice, but you know what I mean, the winter hibernation period.
Exactly.
And then before you know it, it's spring, and then everyone's behind on their seeds starting and whatnot. So it's one of those things where
because we're big dreamers
now.
We're big dreamers.
Yeah, you want to get your seeds now. You want to start. I mean, for me, I start my seeds usually around early April. So I got 2 months to go, and we don't have a lot of time left.
Okay, well, all right, let's see what's happening. Okay, well, I think as we were having an issue right before we got started with the show with our chat, and I think my StreamYard is now, or wait, is it catching up now? Oh boy.
Are we having technical difficulties?
I feel like I am, because I don't know. I feel like you're seeing and folks are chatting and I'm not seeing it or something. What's going on?
So I'm on my computer and I'm watching the stream on my computer.
No, it literally just loaded up on me. It was stuck on a comment for a while, and then it all of a sudden loaded up on me. Now I can see all the ones you were seeing.
Yeah, we got a question from Habitual asking, "What are you most looking forward to growing this spring, Enoch? Tell us. What kind of pepper?
What kind of pepper?
Well,
here's the thing. I'll tell you. I'll just tell you. Yeah, I was gonna say, just in general, though, too, for me, really is last year, I really kind of did a hands-off approach, really busy with a lot of stuff, going on and all that. So, I've got tons of volunteer stuff that pops up and does all of its sort of thing on its own. And then I only myself, as far as things I went in and put in myself, was just a few things. My peppers, of course, some tomatoes, and just a few mainstay items, not the bunches and bunches of stuff that I usually grow last year. And then I kind of let things go a little bit too. So this year I'm really kind of looking to kind of step it up a little bit. Maybe not as full blown as I've done in years past, but step it up a little bit and add some more things back to the garden and get back, try to get back to where I was before. And as I was mentioning earlier, I'm definitely looking forward to maybe adding some carrots to my garden and everything as well too this year, because I really love growing carrots. Carrots are one of also my favorite things, of course, right?
Nice.
But and we grow them in these cool. I have this big, tall, like elevated raised bed, and it's really, really deep. So it's kind of my carrot bed. And so we're getting that filled up, and I'll be sowing those out soon so I can get some carrots going. So if I can really say one thing in particular I'm really, really looking forward to, it's going to be the carrots this year for sure. right now anyways, because it's cool season. These are going to be the first crops that we're going to be growing, the first things that I'm going to really be seeing in there. But then, like you said, of course, I'm going to be really thrilled about the peppers getting out in the garden later on in the year, and some other things. Other people who watch my show and all that know that I like growing all sorts of stuff, even if I don't like to eat it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite plants I grow over the last couple of years are eggplants. And I know you grow eggplants as well too.
I just started. Yeah, I love eggplants. So for me, I tried a couple varieties last run. I did the Black Beauty and the Little Finger, and I actually really love the Little Finger eggplants. I don't know if you've ever tried them. They're small, but they're really, really good. They're very sweet.
That was like a little, like smaller than a baseball.
No, they're like long and skinny.
Oh, okay. These ones, I grew these little orange ones that were like little balls. They were small.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, these are narrow, like they're elongated eggplant. But they grow like 3 to 6 inches in length, and they are very sweet. They're delicious. I really, really enjoy them.
Yeah. Let's see here. Question, Natalie. When will they
What? When will they send you back to Earth from Mars? Well, see, the funny thing is I've been stuck up here for a while, so thank goodness I'm growing my own food.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know. I'll never come back down to Earth with
That's right. That's one thing too. I guess we can. We can just imagine you're like, you're up in Mars, just growing there. And
oh, you guys just wait. Halloween is like the biggest thing for me. Last Halloween, I went all out. So you guys just wait. You want to talk about Mars? Just wait till this Halloween. Come back and find me. And you'll see. I hope the Green Room episode falls on a Halloween. I should actually look that up. I'm curious.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. That's so cool. You remember like the movie The Martian, right? You seen The Martian?
Yeah,
Matt Damon.
Yes, I have. I know people, I do a live stream every day on my channel, and people always ask me, are you on the set of the movie Martian right now?
Right. Let's see. Coach Chavi asks, how do you like to cook eggplant? Well, first, I already premised my love for growing the eggplant plant comes with the fact that I don't really care for eating it, but I do actually really have enjoyed a few different folks who've made an eggplant parmesan that's pretty darn good. So I have enjoyed it that way, and I need to kind of maybe try it out a little bit more and some other things. We are doing our monthly gardening book. It's veggies for breakfast, and so and I've heard from other people that are like putting them in like an eggs and having some with breakfast and are really good too.
You can do so much with eggplant. You can make dips. I've had marinated eggplant in like a cold eggplant salad. You can pickle your eggplants and have them in sandwiches with cold cuts. There's so many different ways. What I like to do is, Shawnee, thank you so much for that segment, because that actually helps someone like me. I grow things that look cool, not things that I'm going to really cook with, and so it forces me to find new recipes and creative things. So I'm going to be exploring some different recipes for things like eggplant. And if there's one that works well for me, I will definitely send it your way. And you can see if maybe you'll enjoy eggplant. Maybe you'll enjoy not only growing it, but eating it as well.
Okay, let's see here. Awesome.
So yeah, I just checked. Halloween is on a Saturday this year. Sorry, guys.
Oh, Halloween's on a Saturday. That means I'm gonna have to dress up for myself. Oh wait, that means we got a double header, because here's the thing too. And now I'm just thinking about this, but I do this every year on Halloween. Is we have a Halloween hangout evening show on Saturday, or what I guess would be a Saturday night. So I guess we'll have a Saturday day show, and then we'll have a hangout at night. I didn't think about that when we did that on Friday this year, that the next one was actually going to be making a double header for us for our Halloween.
Yeah. I tuned into that one. I remember, but I would have popped in and clicked on the link, but I still have I dressed up as the Fresh Princess. I still have my crown. I don't know if you could see it.
Oh,
It's
Right.
like hanging over there.
Yeah, see, so we'll definitely so then we'll you guys will have to come tune in for this year's,
Yeah,
and
we're
then we'll
going
get
all
going.
out. I like to have a good time with it.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, guess what? Looks like, and let me give him a minute here before I see him on there, but it looks like our guy is backstage in the studio, so we'll give him a minute or two here. Get ready. When I see him here, we'll pop him on, I guess. All right, cool.
All right.
We'll get a little bit in here with Joe.
Yeah.
Maybe if people hang around or want to hang around or anything like that, we'll try to get in as much as we can. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Okay. All right, but let's just keep moving here along real quick here.
All right, we got a question from Bernie. When do you like planting cold weather crops in you're not in zone A5 or 5A or 5. I don't even know what my zone is. What zone are you in, Enoch?
Would it make sense? 5 up there in Toronto, maybe? Yeah, for sure.
What?
I'm in
I have
zone
no idea.
8B down here. 8B. Yeah.
Anybody in Ontario know what Toronto is?
Yeah, this is a
just
problem for
Google it.
someone who
I've got my
grows
computer right
indoors like you do. Is that
I grow outdoors as well. It's just
But
all I know is spring, summer, fall. That's it.
Right,
I don't know
right.
about all these zones. And then I started following all these gardeners on Instagram, and I saw their bio is not, oh, this type of gardener, it's zone 5A. What does that mean?
Oh, we got some stuff to teach you when it comes to all of that, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Eastern Ontario is 5A.
All right.
Okay. So maybe that was more of a question for the chat.
Okay. Excellent. I see him back there now. So
All right.
let's go ahead here, everybody. And seeing how we're kind of already going along here, I'm going to do this. We usually do a little bumper, but I'm going to go ahead and just bring Joe in because we want to just kind of
yeah, we got the guest of honor here.
Yeah. All right. Let me get this. I got to get the screen setting right real quick. And then let's bring our man Joe on to the show. There he is. How's it going, Mr. Joe Gardner here with us now?
Welcome.
I should be the guest of shame, actually, not the guest of honor. I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay.
I can't explain what happened, but I can just tell you this. I have a good excuse.
There
Dog
you go.
didn't eat my homework. I literally I was sowing seeds. I was so into my seeds. And I totally forgot. So I just was kind of wrapping up and I checked my email. Thank God you guys sent me, are you ready? I'm like, oh my God, that's tonight. And so here I am. I am so sorry. This is not like me.
Not a problem, Joe.
Better late than never. We're so glad you're here.
Sometimes it's the nature of live streaming and doing things and all of that. And things can get crossed up here and there and all that sort of stuff. Anyways,
it would have been a lot worse if I didn't have a good excuse. Thank you. Yeah.
That's
I
right.
think you guys can cut me some slack for sowing seeds, getting distracted and sowing seeds. But I'm here and I'm excited. So where do we want to go? Let's do it.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, Joe. We've been talking about this and we've actually been talking with everybody else, but this on our show, we're going to do something here new. And I hope Natalie is ready for this. I don't know if I am. I'm going to work on this here real quick.
So
this is new for us. I'll let Natalie explain it real quick as I get everything ready here. And then you tell me when you're, or actually here, let's do this first, just real quick. Sorry. Because again, we're all just kind of catching up here. We got Joe with us now on the show and everything. So let's get this all set up right. Let's do a lightning round. All right, Joe, this is where we're going to have fun with our guest here. And
all right. So Enoch, seems like you're having the mic issue again, but I'm just going to go ahead and explain the lightning round and hopefully it resolves. But Joe, you are going to be you're the guest of honor, and this is our first time doing this. So you're going to be our beta tester, but we're going to do a lightning round, get you on your toes, just jump right into it. Got some burning questions for you.
Yeah.
And you're going to have about 60 seconds, you're going to have 60 seconds to answer 10 questions. You get through as many of them as you can. First thing that comes to mind, we just want to have fun with it. and get to
Okay.
know you a little bit more, because we're just really excited that you're here.
This is pressure. Okay.
All right.
So,
you say go, and I'll hit the timer, Natalie, and then we'll get going.
all right. So whenever you are ready, are we ready to go?
Let's
Joe,
do
you
it.
ready?
Do it. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Question number 1, direct sowing seeds or starting seeds early?
Starting seeds early.
Most difficult plant you've ever grown?
Asked.
Native plants or edible plants?
Oh gosh, native edibles. Both. That's a tie.
One plant everyone should try growing at least once.
Tomatoes.
Weeding, is it therapy or punishment?
Therapy.
A garden tool you feel is unnecessary, but you use it anyway.
Break.
Favorite part about being on TV?
Meeting people.
Favorite non-gardening book?
I don't read non-gardening books.
All right. Easiest
I do.
plant you've ever...
I'm into so many gardening books. We'll pass on that one. Hurry. One more.
Easiest plant you've ever...
I think you're supposed to be able to finish the question. If the question started before the buzzer sounded,
Yes.
I think
That's right.
100%. Easiest
Yeah.
plant you've ever grown.
Basil.
So you got 9 out of 10. That's pretty good. That's
Really?
2 seconds per question. You did a great job.
Well, okay. I thank you for that, but for the record, I did pass on 1 or 2.
And yeah, you did a great job. So appreciate
Absolutely.
you. We totally put you on the spot, but
That was fun.
That was
you did
fun.
great.
Yeah.
I knew that was gonna be fun. I got to do all to make sure all that stuff works out and all that sort of stuff.
Oh
So that
my
was our
gosh,
first
the
test
work
of
you
that
do.
segment. I think we'll get it down to even more tighter next time. But we did well.
That was totally amazing. I think my heart rate's up pretty good right now, so that's good.
Good.
Yes, did you
Yeah,
like the
Nice.
heartbeat
That'll
on
help.
that too? I was like, that was great.
I threw in the heartbeat just to stress you out a little more, just in case
No.
you weren't stressed enough already.
You think it's like, is that my heart or is that sound effect?
Yeah. It's okay. Now we can
Exactly.
slow down and enjoy the show.
Exactly. Right on. Again, too. Thanks for jumping right in. What a way to jump right into a show and an interview, though, right?
I'm
Joe-
looking at the live count up there for 1 hour and 21 minutes. So am I like 1 hour and 20 minutes?
I know it would be a little,
Yes.
a little late. I'm not
That's
gonna
a yes.
As
Okay.
long as you're here, you're right on time. Don't even worry about
And
it.
if you
Gosh.
do have a little bit of time, I will say that because of this, and and I'm glad you showed up and everything like that. We'll let everybody know too, because people have been waiting in the chat as well too. We will go over a little bit if Joe will let us go just a little bit extra here today,
Totally.
just so that we can make sure we get in a good little discussion.
We just want to know, what kind of seeds were you sowing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just looking at my spreadsheet too while we're geeking out here. So I sowed my first round of hot peppers on December 27th. And I was just looking at the date today. So those have been in the cells for a month inside my indoor growing area. But the hot peppers just take a lot longer to germinate, and then they take much longer to get going. They really like the heat, and that's hard to get in, December, January. So I try to get a head start for a plant sale I do in April. So that's what I was doing then. And tonight I was getting to my herbs, which also, if I don't get those planted soon enough, they just don't look big enough for the sale. So tonight was herb night. So I planted 5 varieties of herbs. And I'll plant more peppers, sweet peppers on Saturday. And then all the tomatoes will start around mid-February. More than you wanted to know. You were just asking me what I was doing tonight. And I
was going to say, well,
this is the plan. Plan.
Yeah, in that case, then you're early, because it sounds like you've got your work cut out for you.
I am trying, Natalie, to do the best I can to be more organized every year. So, I worked on my spreadsheet in like October, and I was feeling really good about it. I got my signage word. I ordered a seed plant tag label making machine. And I'm like, this is great. No more handwritten tags.
Oh, I need to get one of those.
My game. But I knew that I needed to do that in the waning months of the year, because January for us is like our busiest month of the year. So just for the company.
Excellent, excellent. And also to everybody, again, thank you so much for being here tonight. We got Joe with us now, so go ahead and drop in some questions if you dropped in questions earlier or anything like that, so we can include some of your questions as well too here to ask of Joe. We do have one already. Wickershire asked Joe, is your background a green screen? What is that?
No, that's my office. Those those are bookshelves that I had made for my office that, you know, filled some nice space, some empty wall space, and put some LED lights in there, and I got a few plants in there and some books and some other cool things. And so no, it's not, but I thought I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a little science plant lab or something, right?
Yeah, I love it.
All my seed packets are over here that I didn't know I was going to be showing off tonight because I didn't know about this. But yeah, I got a lot of seeds over there.
Oh yeah, perfect.
So you mentioned during the lightning round that you don't necessarily read non-gardening books, and I caught some of the last podcast episode, one of the most recent podcast episodes that you did, and you said you make it a habit every night to try to read a little bit of a gardening book. What's on your nightstand right now? What are you reading?
I'm currently reading Animal, Mineral, Plants, Mineral, Animals, which I'm not sure I got the order right, but I'm loving that book and I'm in the middle of it right now. Animal, Plants, Minimal. It's those three nouns, and I can't think the order of it. Somebody will tell me. It's a really popular book, but it is gardening related because she and her family took a year to devote to eating off their farm rather than purchasing food, or they would purchase at the farmer's market or locally, but they wanted to stop consuming food from, you know, other parts of the world and really live locally and eat locally and honor their land and their animals. And it's a really good book, and she's a great writer. And I can't think of her name, of course, or I would have mentioned it, which is terrible because she's very good. But anyway.
Oh,
that's okay. We thought the J-Bot.
Someone will figure it out. If not, our J-Bot will be on it here in a minute.
Yes.
And we'll get to know. What were the three words again? You think it is?
Animal,
mineral, animal.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'm sure she.
And that might be the order.
All right. If not, she'll also put a nice link in there for everybody as well too. So, yeah, that's great though too. Read, you know, I try to do the same thing, Joe. I spend a little time every single night reading, and I got to read a garden book because we got here on our Let's Get Growing show, our monthly gardening book club. Ooh. Where we kind of run a really fun, cool, different type of book club here on our show. Is, you know, we review and highlight a different book each month, but we bring the author onto the show to talk with us about the book with them, you know. So this, it's a really fun gardening book club. And this month, we're reading Willie Galloway's Veggies for Breakfast. So we're doing a little more of kind of a cookbook, you know. There's a little gardening, little bits and stuff like that in there and everything, but it's really one of those books that really can really show you what you can do with the things that you're growing out of your garden and really implement those into the most important meal of the day.
That's great, because while I was seeding, I was listening to a BBC podcast, and the guest was saying, you know, her background was public relations, and then she had some mental illness that really took her away from work, but she loved cooking. And then she got into gardening, but I heard her say, I garden because I cook.
Yeah.
I garden because I cook. And then I started thinking, I listened to that and I said, well, gosh, I cook because I garden, which is, I don't know. Just, you're talking about that made me think of the order of which came first and why we do what we do. But either way, both are good, and both, it's good if you're doing both.
Exactly. I find that to be a case too. We get to interview lots of chefs and folks who, again, too, you know, they started cooking, learning about cooking, getting themselves educated and doing that stuff. And the next thing you know, they're outgrowing their own garden because they know they can grow their better, more fresh stuff, you know, for some really great, you know, dishes that they want to do. But I'm the same as you. I was a picky eater growing up. I don't know about you, Natalie, but I was a really, really picky eater growing up. And it wasn't until I started growing and gardening that I learned about and started regaining, you know, a taste for vegetables and things that I really didn't like and wouldn't try when I was a kid. I eat like crazy nowadays and all that sort of stuff because of, you know, just because of getting into gardening.
Yeah. See, I'm not, 5 books of that. Oh, never mind. I thought Jay was giving us the name of the book. Yeah, I'm not a picky eater at all.
She's got different authors. I think she's
Yeah,
looking at that might be of that.
I eat everything. I'm not a picky eater. So I try to grow anything that looks appealing and exciting, and I will learn new recipes and kind of just try to broaden that aspect. And then if I like it, I'll grow it again. For example, we were talking about the Chinese 5-color. You know, you can make chili oils, hot sauces. It's something I would definitely grow over and over again. But certain things you try once and it stays that way, you know? Depends on what you like.
Yes. So both of you would you call yourself cooks before gardeners, time-wise?
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a cook. I cook, but I'm not. I don't experiment in the
I'm not a
kitchen.
cook.
I'm
not a cook when it comes down to it, that sort of thing. It's one of the things I would love. People ask me all the time, you gotta make some like cooking videos or something like that.
My
I'm
garden,
just like, you don't want me to do that.
My garden pushes me to cook. It pushes me to experiment in the kitchen because it's about showing people how I grow my own food, and then I actually use it. I'm not just growing to grow, right? I actually use the food and I eat it. So trying to come up with recipes and creativity is something new for me.
Yes, and it's so satisfying to be able to put the food that you grow to use in your kitchen, and it's very disconcerting, or to me, I feel really bad when food goes to waste that I've grown and I can't get to in the kitchen, or we don't know what to do with it, or we've got too much, or the refrigerator can't hold anymore. You know, we give away a lot for sure. We try not to let anything go to waste, but you know, what ultimately doesn't make it to the, you know, because everything's perishable for the most part. Some of it makes it to the compost pile, but at least it's full circle because it's going back into the garden at that point. But when you sit down to a meal that you've made from the food that you've grown in your garden, every night that you do that to me, that never gets old. I really love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's very exciting, and you appreciate the food to a whole new level. You're eating more consciously. You're taking your time, you know, when you're eating that meal, because you know the work that went into growing it. It's beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
Let's see here. We got a couple of options real quick. Was it Animal Vegetable Miracle, a Year of Food by Barbara Kingsolver?
Yes. Is it Miracle? I thought it was Miracle. It's Miracle. See, I didn't
There's
get
one other one too that Shawnee, let me see if I can find that again, was saying.
That was
Savannah Gibson.
Animal Vegetable. See, there it is. Animal Vegetable
Mineral by Savannah Gibson.
Thank you.
Okay, we found it. There you go.
Woo. Good. I don't have to look it up now. I was trying to sneak in a quick search, but thank you. Man, can't believe it.
So earlier during the lightning round, we asked, what is a plant that everyone should grow at least once? You mentioned tomatoes. Do you have a favorite tomato variety that you've grown?
Well, I do, and I grow many, many varieties, but I've settled in on Black Krim, Cherokee Purple, Mr. Stripey.
Some dark ones.
Yeah, I love the dark. It's like my wine and my coffee. I like full-bodied, complex, really flavorful.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank, you know.
I love that you said that. I'm growing Cherokee Purple for the first time, and I'm excited. I've heard so many wonderful things.
There's nothing you won't love about it. It's an incredible, and the best part, besides the fact that it's incredibly delicious, it's one of the first to come on with fruit, and it's a very prolific plant once it starts fruiting. So that's probably the first tomato I'm able to harvest. Everything gets planted around the same time, but that's the first one that really is ready. And they just don't quit once they start going. You're going to love it, Natalie. You're going to
very
really
excited. Hopefully it does well.
And then save the seed. They're open pollinated, so you can just continue to grow it.
Yeah, I always save my seeds and try to make it a habit.
All right, let's see here. I think we've got some questions in the chat here. I'm gonna get to here real quick.
People are very excited you're here, Joe. We're all very excited.
I'm sorry, everybody. It took me long.
There's nothing to be sorry for. You're here.
Okay.
We're just glad you're here.
Yes, indeed. That's right. Thank you, Natalie.
Yes.
Joe, have you ever grown peanuts?
I have. So easy and surprising.
Aren't they?
You plant the peanut and it grows, and by Thanksgiving, Halloween, you're harvesting your peanuts, and you've got a ton of them.
Roasted.
they send down these little shoots from the stems, and those become their own peanuts, and it's unlike anything else you've grown. And
it's got to be one of the most unique plants
yes,
you could grow in your garden, right?
It is so unique, more unique than probably the most unique plant that I can recall growing. And I've grown kind of everything almost.
Yeah, me too. The same thing. Same here. Have you
just
ever
don't
grown peanuts, Natalie? Or
I have never
do
tried.
you know how they grow?
I know that they are legumes, and I know I don't know how they would do if I were to try to grow them in my systems. Probably would do better in soil, but I've never heard of hydroponic or aeroponic peanuts. That could be interesting. Maybe it could be something I could try.
I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see. Like you were talking about potatoes. She's going to try doing potatoes as well hydroponically. And I'm like, it'd be interesting to see how that goes anyways.
Yeah, or beets. I've seen people do it. It does work. I'm still going through the learning curve. I'm still, a beginner. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but
how it grows.
Peanuts are really cool, Joe, right? Because they're like kind of like a ground cover in a way. They're a nice low to ground type of plant.
Yeah.
But when and here's the question I would have for you, if you know whether I do or not, but is it when they get pollinated that they send the shoot down? Because they send their stems out long ways, and then they'll send their little stems that'll go down and just like poke right into the ground, and it'll whirl its way down into the ground and then form the peanut, and that's where the peanut will form inside.
That makes
the
sense.
Like that.
It would happen after the pollination, because that's the new seed, which would be from pollination.
Yeah, because the peanut is the seed.
Yeah.
So you're actually eating a seed, not a nut.
And that's probably why something like that would do better outdoors, right?
Yeah.
It requires some type of specific pollination. I mean, this way I've got to hand pollinate everything. So some things
it would
are
be
just
interesting
better
to see how it would do that to shoot its thing into whatever water thing you would want it to. That's
quietly
really train it. But
I was quietly wondering how you'll do that to accommodate the seeds, the nuts going down.
But like your little science lab there, Joe, you got behind you. Natalie's got her science lab back behind her there. So I wouldn't be surprised if she couldn't figure it out.
Is that a green screen, Natalie?
It certainly is. No, it's a grow tent. Yeah, we got a grow tent right.
Very cool.
Yeah, trying to, because I'm in Canada, right? I don't have, you were just covering it. Like I said, I actually enjoyed your most recent podcast episode. You were talking about how even though gardening is only physically planting outside of the gardening months are, from spring to fall, even though there's a bit of downtime now, I don't experience that.
You're
I constantly have a grow, right? But because I'm in Canada, I can't grow my own food during the winter because I don't have the knowledge, I guess. Listening to you and the way you schedule things and different crops, it's interesting. You kind of cover the whole year. You're busy all year round.
Yes. That was a fun episode to do, and there's never probably a day I'm not doing something related to gardening, whether it's thinking, planning, planting, or that's kind of it. Learning, reading.
So with all because you've got a lot of things going on. You've got your podcast, you've got your channel, you've got your farm. Where do you find the time to just kind of relax and connect with your garden? Do you have the time?
Yeah, I get it. Thank God my vocation is also my avocation. So my passion is fortunately what I do for a living. And so if we get to the weekend and I'm gardening, it could be work. It could be fun, but I just don't think of it as work. I mean, I have a lot of things I have to do for work related to gardening. So those become tasks or to-dos that have to get done. And if I don't get them done in time, Amy, my right-hand colleague, is, slacking me to say, that was due 2 days ago. But it's still gardening stuff. And so to your question about, what's my relaxing time, it's the reading at night. It's do some reading in the morning. It's getting, I get 7 hours. I kind of am regimented to make this all work. but I get go to bed at 10. I get up at 5. I spend about 3 hours from 5 to 8 doing reading and email returning and that kind of stuff. And then I do some personal health, some working out and stuff. And then I'm working until, and like when I do the I'm working all day. And then on podcasting, there's usually about 3 nights after dinner that I'm editing and I'm working on the podcast. So it's ready to go on Thursday. And I have a team to help me with that, but I like to do the editing. I'm just really hands-on, maybe to a fault. And I love audio. I actually have fun editing. So that's another work-related thing that I kind of is my nighttime hobby 3 nights a week.
Yeah, at least it's become a passion for you, I mean, I know gardening has been a passion for you your whole life since you were young, but the editing aspect and the other components that go into, everything that goes into your business and your brand, and that's a lot of work, and it's very admirable.
Thank you.
Living the dream, Joe. Living the dream, man. I'm telling you.
I'm thankful that I know what my passion is, and I'm super thankful that I've somehow stumbled into figuring out how to make a living at it. And I don't take that for granted. And I just feel very fortunate that it's worked out.
Yeah. And for folks out there who are watching, and I'm sure you guys have had a chance or maybe seen Joe out there doing his Emmy Award-winning show, Growing a Greener World, which is just really amazing and all of that. I want to just kind of ask the question, for everybody else out there, how did all this kind of get started for you? What kind of really led you from, whatever else you were doing before gardening, before you got into doing the television show or other things that you were doing?
That's kind of where it really took off. But I've always, as you have already said, I've always been gardening, at least since the age of 8, and seriously hit the ground running. And every day I was wanting to know more and learn more. And that was through college when my mother, when I told her I wanted to get a horticulture degree, she said, "That's great, honey, but why don't you get a business degree at the same time so you'll have more options when you graduate?" And she was right. So I hopped on a suit and tie job right out of college for a little while, knowing that was only going to be temporary, because my heart always said I'm going to be getting my hands in the soil and wearing jeans and a t-shirt the rest of my life once I find that opportunity. But it didn't come right away. And I didn't take the first thing that came by me. I waited for whatever felt like this is the opportunity. And that came several years into my professional life in finance. And HGTV reached out in an email blast to garden writers, gardening communicators all over the country. They had this new show they were going to do on their sister station, DIY Network. And their concept was they were going to have every episode dedicated to teaching people how to grow food. Each episode would focus on one crop at a time. So one episode would be the host walking the viewers through everything you need to know, from seed starting or seedling planting a tomato or a watermelon or a okra plant or peanuts or whatever it would be. And the plan was seed to harvest. The host would teach everybody how to do it. So each episode, you're going through the whole growing cycle of each crop. So you're talking about 3 to 4 months typically for one episode to finish, at least. And anyway, long story short, these emails went out. One person that I'd never met in person who knew me sent me the email and said, "Joe, this HGTV is looking for a host of a new show. They've described who they're looking for. You're who they're looking for. They don't know it yet, but you need to let them know you're the one they're looking for. So it's up to you now to go out and reach out to the producers, and try to arrange a interview or an audition or whatever." And I was able to do that. And one day I'd never been on TV before. I watched a lot of gardening shows, but never been on TV. And they said, "Hey, we're interested in you." Oh, I had a lunch with a producer. That was my first foot in the door. And I couldn't tell if he liked me or not. He was super stone-faced. He sat across the lunch table with his arms folded and this smug look. And I just couldn't read him. And I'm good at reading people. And I couldn't figure this guy out. And he said at the end of the lunch, "Well, if we're interested, we'll let you know. I'm going to go talk to my executive producer about you, and we may be in touch." That was it. It's like, okay, that's the end of this. I'll never hear from the guy again. A week later, he calls me and said, "Hey, we're really interested in you. We want to do a screen test with you. Can you meet us at so-and-so? And we're going to have our crew there. we'll send you a script to memorize and we'll film you. So I showed up for that, and the whole crew was there. I'm supposed to pretend I'm doing the opening of a show. They gave me the script. I tried to look at myself the night before in the mirror doing the script, and I was so embarrassed looking at myself, feeling like it's ridiculous. I felt stupid. So I put the script down. I drove to the site early. I sat in the car, memorized the script, got out. They had me do it over and over and over, the same open, probably about 8 times. And every time it was like, okay, do it again with no feedback, no anything.
Oh, wow.
Then after eight of those, and I have no idea how I did, they said, okay, let's go over to this part, and we're going to have you just pretend you're doing a soil test, and you're going to describe to us as if you're teaching us how to do a soil test. So I didn't know that was coming, but I think they had me do that to see how I could do on the fly, and if I knew what I was talking about. And so I did that about 8 times with no feedback. And then at the end of that, they said, okay, thanks a lot. We'll see you later. I'm like, well, that's it. I mean, no goodbyes, no nothing. I mean, where does this go from here, if anywhere?
Yeah.
So, well, we're having our meeting at HGTV. He'd actually mentioned this. I didn't ask, but he said, we're having our meeting at HGTV next week. We're going to present our candidates, and we'll let you know. And they let me know. He said, look, they're interested in you a lot, but they're also, we've only been looking at males because that's what HGTV initially spec'd out, but they want to make sure they cover everything. So we're going to do this whole thing over with females. So there's another 6 weeks of my waiting. In the meantime, we're coming up on the gardening season. And I waited it out, and then I got a call, and I'm almost done with the story. He said, hey, look, we've narrowed it down. They've narrowed it down to 2 people. They've got a male they like, which is you, and they've got a female they're looking at. So they've got it down to you or this other person, and we're going to know in 1 week, and whichever gender they go with is going to be that person. And a week later, I got the call. They picked me. So I got to shed my suit forever, put my jeans on, my T-shirt, and the next week I was literally filming the first episode of the show. And it went from 26 episodes originally planned to 52 episodes in 3 years. And while that was going on, I used my business degree information to trademark Joe Gardner and start speaking publicly a lot. And I think I wrote my first book during that time. So that's how it took off. But I was able to parlay that or piggyback that platform with all those viewers from the show, which we called Fresh from the Garden, into what it's become along with everything else to today.
And what was that feeling like for you, that moment that you got the call where now you realize you get to do what you love for a living? What was that moment like for you? What was that feeling?
Cloud 9, I mean, it was surreal, you know, because I'd waited because I knew in my heart that the opportunity would come, but I didn't know when or where or what it would be. And when that door opened, I said, I think this is it. But I remember the week I had a family dinner with my whole family lived in Atlanta at the time. And so my brothers and me are with our parents, and I'm sitting around and say, hey, let me just tell you about a funny lunch I had yesterday. And I told them about that lunch I had that I just told you about. I said, but you know, I'm telling you now because I'm sure I'll never hear from this guy again. But it was just fun to imagine I might be, you know, a gardening television host on, you know, DIY Network, and shared that with him. But then it happened, and I was so fortunate that I was picked and it worked out. And yeah, Natalie, it was amazing.
That does sound amazing. And I mean, other than that, do you have any other pinch me moments in your career?
That probably was one of the tops, but I think in all the places we got to go after, that was my first television show. Then after that retired because we ran out of things to teach people how to grow. I was host of another gardening show on PBS called Garden Smart for 3 years. And then I left that to start Growing a Greener World because I knew there was a show I really wanted to do that wasn't being told about organic gardening and environmental stewardship wrapped together, because it really is a system and it needs to be told together. But that show didn't exist. So I took a year off, thought about how that show would be, got underwriting funding, and then we submitted it to PBS with a pilot, and they loved it, and it took off. And so over 12 years of shooting Growing a Greener World and traveling all over the country and beyond, I met some of my gardening heroes. And so some other pinch me moments would be some of those people that I met that I'd always admired. And it was just a real joy. So, and it continues to be that.
Congratulations. What a
Thank you.
wonderful way to go about your career. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's every day is fun. I never dread Mondays, and I love every day working.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry,
Okay.
my headphones just died on me.
Oh, okay. No problem. All right. Well, anyways, Joe, I just want to say though too.
5 minutes.
No problem. I'll just say though, Joe, is that really, again, and I know I mentioned this to you last time when we did our interview a couple years back, but I watched your show for years. I got to know him. When I got to, for one, really, it was really awesome when you accepted to do the interview and have you there, because for me, it was just such a massive inspiration to have you, come and be a part of doing what I was doing and collaborate with me and do that interview and everything. And you always have been, because I myself, I'm one of those same folks, man, who look at it and go, hey, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to do those sort of things? And I've done my try. You can go check out my channel, and I've gone and done visits and interviews and doing all that sort of stuff and everything. But really, you've been such a big inspiration to me and everything I've been doing as well.
Thank you.
I don't think that's a question. I'm sorry, but I just had to say that when it comes down to it. I love hearing that story, because it's just really, it is inspirational.
Thank you. And anytime I have a chance to help somebody out and I don't even know it, and then they tell me, I don't take those for granted. I love hearing those when they randomly show up in my inbox or a direct message or however it happens. Yeah. And that never gets old, and you could never have enough of those. And it's a nice counter to the the people out there that for whatever reason feel the need to comment on your YouTube channel and say something nasty, and it's like, where did that come from? But you don't give energy to that. You don't address it. You don't acknowledge it. You delete it, and you just move on.
Oh yeah, and I've had my bits of it, believe me, that come in and happen and stuff. Luckily, in the gardening world, it isn't as common as you would see, in other places and stuff on the internet. So we are kind of fortunate for the most part that we aren't really inundated by that stuff.
True.
But yeah, so glad that it is that way. But really though, too, like I said, is just that getting to do certain things and like I was saying about being inspired and all of that and do this sort of stuff is just really awesome to be able to see and talk to you about those sort of things. I want to jump in actually and maybe get a couple more questions here. And I have to, sorry, did you get your?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay, good.
We're good. Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah. So while you comb through the chat for some questions, I've got a quick question for you, Joe. Either in gardening or business, do you have a piece of advice that you've gotten throughout your career that stands out to you that you go back to from time and time again?
That is an excellent question, Natalie. Thank you. And yes, there's one that immediately came to mind because I say it a lot, and it served me really well for all of my life since I heard it from my mentor, who in the business world sat me, we had I had a monthly one-on-one with him, and at some point we were talking about, I don't remember what we were talking about, but his point was, maybe I was saying about something about, how do you stand out in the world when you feel like you're competing with everybody and you're talking the same talk and, it's maybe the same product or whatever it was. And he says, look, people buy differences. They don't buy similarities. And the way that they're going to engage with you is because you're different. That if you were just like everybody else, how do you stand out? And so every time I think about, who am I? What's my brand? What do I stand for? It's about, well, how do I not be like everybody else and be true to myself at the same time? How do I be genuine, but highlight or put the spotlight on those areas where I'm not like everybody else? How can I deliver something in a different way? And so by people embracing that difference rather than the similarities, just because it's, everybody else, that served me really well. And you can apply that to anything.
Yes.
And I have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you do a great job too, showing that and connecting with your audience through your show and through your podcast. So yeah, that's a great piece of advice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your authenticity and your professionalism is definitely, like I said, it's inspirational and something to strive to. And like you also said, in almost anything. Almost anything you can do.
Yeah. Gardening, business, anything in life.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's jump into some questions from a bit earlier. We had Habitual in there asking something you will never grow again.
That's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna surprise a lot of people with this one. But
okay, here we go.
Cucurbits, squash and melons, mainly squash. And first, and I'll tell you why. It's here I am in Atlanta, Georgia. It's hot and humid, but we all know there's a lot of pests that are attracted to squash and melon. And
it's probably one of the things I hear about the most.
and listen, we've already established that I'm really busy and I'm really regimented with my time so that I can do the things I want and need to do, but I don't want to be standing over my plants, my squash plants, picking off squash vine borers or squash worms or squash beetles or whatever else is attracted to them when I'm getting my arms into all this prickly stems and the leaves hurting my neck because I'm looking up on the trellis to try to get to the little eggs that the squash I'm telling you what, I've never worked so hard in my life and I'm just over it. I've done enough of it. I'm over it. If I want squash, I'll go to the farmer's market, but I'm not gonna dedicate any more space forevermore.
It's not that good anyways.
Right.
But
I get every one of those frustrations though. I definitely get it.
Yeah.
So see, as an indoor grower, I stay away from that because they're highly susceptible to things like powdery mildew. So I only allow myself either one melon or one cucumber. That's it. No, you can't have more than one. You gotta choose.
Can't do it. Just can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got other questions in the chat.
Yeah,
I think.
let's drop some more questions in here. Bowtie did ask earlier too, Joe.
Hey, Bowtie.
What do you hope the next generation of gardeners carries forward from your work?
That's a great question.
Stop using if you feel the need to use pesticides, stop, because you really don't need to do that. If you focus on the soil and you're proactive in your garden and you just trust the systems that Mother Nature already has in place and you're patient, your garden will be resilient. It's like us, when we're healthy, we're less susceptible to all the stuff that everybody else is getting. And we're not as attractive to the naysayers, to the pest, the insect pest, and this metaphor, whatever I'm trying to say here. But, the insects are going after the low-hanging fruit too, because they're not putting out the pheromones and things that oftentimes deter those pest insects. And it's an amazing system, but you got to be patient enough to understand and see it in action. And so the other thing about, the reason why we are dealing with mass extinction of a lot of our arthropods and wildlife in general, but our insects and our arthropods and all of the contributors in nature to the natural systems that we need to function and to have our food, that a third of the food that we eat, thanks to our pollinators, they're dying off for several reasons, but one is rampant pest control, insecticides. And and obviously I'm on my soapbox and I get real passionate about that, but it just happens all too much. And you don't need to a knee-jerk reaction, say, well, I don't hear this as much anymore, but when I was starting out a long time ago, I always used to hear, well, what can I spray on this plant to kill that bug? I said, well, what bug is it? I don't know. It's just something eating my plants. I said, well, before you even go there, first of all, you may not need anything, but you haven't even identified what it is. And the fact is, almost every insecticide is non-selective or broad spectrum, meaning they can't tell the difference between a good bug and a bad bug. So why would you spray your entire garden? And then the other thing I always say to my audiences, when I am in front of a bunch of people, I say, when I get into the context of the insects, I said, by the way, what percentage of all the insects in the world are actually pests that do damage to your plants? And I shut up and I let them answer, and I get every number between 0 and 100. And oftentimes it's on the high side. But the fact is, it's somewhere between 1 and maybe 3% on the high side. So then I say, if that's the case, you can do some simple math and then realize that either 97 and 99% are neutral or beneficial. And if that's the case, why would you spray a non-selective broad spectrum pesticide over your garden when only 1% are pests? You just shouldn't be doing that, because you're killing everything it lands on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you completely. I also am very, as an indoor, I'm also an outdoor grower. I do not use pesticides because of that very reason. As an indoor grower, having to hand pollinate everything, I've had runs where, this costs money to run on a regular basis, and to not get food and to not have anything to show for if you don't pollinate properly. With no pollinators, there's no food. So they are so much more important than a lot of people realize. People are very interested in having, the beautiful, flawless garden, but there's so much more to it that goes into it. And it's more about the bigger picture of it all.
It's much more about the bigger picture. It's a system. And Doug Tallamy did a quote not too long ago, and it started out, in the past, all we asked of our gardens is that they be pretty. Now we understand that we need to, and then he goes on to say that we need to do so much more in our gardens than to just have them
be
pretty.
Functional.
Yes, but it's not mutually exclusive. We can still have the beautiful garden that we aspire to have, but while at the same time being environmentally responsible and creating a healthy ecosystem to do all the other things that need to happen naturally to have that healthy, thriving, beautiful garden.
Absolutely. And that's where knowledge is power comes into play, right? Is the more knowledge you have on these things, the better you can do for yourself, for your garden, for the pollinators, all the components of Mother Nature.
Yep, absolutely. For years and years, I've been talking about, teaching people how to grow food, and I always will, because it's a major, important gift that I have to be able to share that knowledge with other people. But I've said in the past few years, I think my real focus going forward, where I feel the larger need is to help people learn how to garden ecologically, so that they can, how they want to grow food or plants, whatever that is that they're growing, we need to think about doing it more responsibly and environmentally. So the ecological gardening aspect of the steps that you need to be thinking about in the bigger system that we've all been talking about tonight is really where I want to spend the rest of my teaching days, helping people get their heads around that, and then to help them start spreading the word. Because if we don't gardeners we're many millions strong, and we're also some of the biggest violators of that problem. I say, with gardening, we create a lot of beautiful things, but in the process, we do a lot of not so pretty things to make it so. So I want to try to change that.
Try to correct it a little bit
with help.
Yeah.
And another one too, something that I learned about along my gardening process too, and again, those things being so really important, pollinators, and just having more life in your garden brings more food to your garden, really. And so really when it comes down to it, utilize some sort of methods. IPM is a big one. Insect or pest management, what I mean? Integrated pest management. Bring good ones to your garden. Don't spray things down. Bring their competitors. Do things that you can to create that natural world as much as you can, so that they can contribute to your garden space as well. So you're doing good things in all sorts of ways. Not only are you just not putting dumb chemicals just onto your plants and into the ground and all that sort of stuff, but you're also then encouraging the natural life around your garden.
And I have a talk I do called Ecological Gardening, and I say IPM is the next best thing, but that was created in the 50s, and we've evolved a lot since then, and now there's a lot more letters in the IPM thing. And it's like in the wintertime, rather when we're putting our garden, we used to say, put your garden to bed in the fall. Well, now we know leave the leaves, leave the duff layer. There's a lot of overwintering insects that need to survive through the winter so that the birds have access to the thousands of caterpillars they need to feed their clutch before they, fly the coop or, fly the nest. And just all these other things that we now know that are incorporated into that bigger picture of beyond just IPM. But that was a great place to start, and we've really come a long way with adding to those 3 letters.
Yeah. Have you ever met up in the Pacific Northwest, Cisco Morris?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. At the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, he and I used to share the stage and yuck it up when we were there. And he's one of a kind.
He is definitely, he's one of my favorites. I grew up, loved watching, listening to him through his radio and television appearances and stuff like that. He's been on our show a few times. He'll be on later in the year as well too, but he's the one who really, I learned a lot about this stuff. Even before I actually started gardening, I remember him talking on the radio show and all that sort of stuff. And he really led the way, like you said, IPM's been around for a while, and he was back in the 70s when people were really hot on spraying everything with anything and everything they could find, back in those days. And he was one of those leading voices saying, stop it. You don't have to do that, and with Seattle University, he showed people this, you can grow all of this without doing any of that.
Yep.
And it's really important to know. So yeah. All right, let's get another. Go ahead, Natalie. I'm going to look for another question though.
Yeah. Speaking of leading voices, who is your biggest inspiration in the gardening world? Who do you look to for ideas, inspiration, motivation, whatever?
Great question.
I think this guy's name gets mentioned 1,000 times or more a day with gardeners around the country and beyond. But Doug Tallamy has really surfaced he's been around a long time and he's been doing great things for years, but he has led the charge over the past maybe 15 years, I'm just guessing, in this movement towards ecological gardening, homegrown national park, stop using the insecticides and helping people understand the value of an oak tree to so much wildlife and so many things we hadn't thought about prior to his starting to raise awareness and get the momentum building with the books that he's written, his willingness to speak anywhere, anytime, if he's available. And he's very generous with his time, and he's had such an influence, and he's impacted me. He's very gracious with me. I get to interview him with every book he's written. I've spent time at his house, and he's the real deal. What I love about Doug, and one of the reasons why he's such a mentor to me, is that I really respect people that are down to earth and just genuine. And people that are the opposite of that are really off-putting to me. And so I just can't relate to that. But Doug is one that I think we all can relate to, because he's one of us, and yet he has so much more to offer, and he's impacting. I think he's single-handedly doing more to impact environmental stewardship as it relates to gardening than any other person that I can think of currently. And I admire everything he does, and I'm so thankful that he's willing to do what he does so freely with his time and his generosity.
That is a wonderful thing for the community. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Let me jump in. Yes, actually, he is awesome. I gotta.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'd love to talk to that guy.
Yeah,
Joe, have you ever grown any? I'm sorry, Natalie.
No, go ahead. I cut you off. Sorry.
Joe, have you ever grown any tropical or citrus fruits? Yeah, we're still getting the hang of this, Joe. This is our new show here, and we're new to co-hosting with each other here, so we're also getting the hang of it here. So.
Well, you're doing a great job. And yes, I have to all of the above. Currently, fruits would be the only thing that I have growing beyond tropicals that are, inside my house. I have a lot of house plants, and they can't survive cold weather. So I would put them in the tropical category. And citrus, I don't have any citrus growing now, and I'm dying to get my key limes going, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I grew up in Miami, so I've had the best citrus growth, oranges and grapefruit and mangoes and avocado. I know those aren't all citrus, but just all that stuff that grows down there, including the citrus that I grew in my backyard. was the best I've ever had. And, I left there at college, but, man, that was good. So fruits, I'm growing pears and plums and, kiwi and, something else. But that's about it, because where I live, there's, again, the pests and the disease issues that are very attracted to a lot of the fruit that we can grow. And where I'm at in the hot, humid Atlanta, there's not a lot that doesn't attract the pests, but pears and plums do a good job.
How about
Pretty
some
good
peaches?
job. Prolific. And, peaches are pretty pesty.
Even for Georgia, huh? Known for its peaches.
I know, right? Right. So you're probably not going to find organic peaches in Georgia, truth be told. Pawpaws is the other fruit that I grow.
Shawnee's got a question. Is there anything you want to get your hands on this year that's new to your garden?
This is kind of related, Sean. I'm doing a lot of new things with my garden. I changed out all my raised beds in November. That was a massive project. So I have new design to my raised beds. I'm using metal and some treated wood, which sounds weird as an organic gardener, but if you do the research, and it's okay these days if you use the right stuff. So I've changed it up because my other 13-year-old cedar timbers rotted and I had to replace them. So I'm really excited about getting my hands on my new raised beds and seeing how they do with new soil in it, because the soil that I'd been using was so exhausted with pathogens that had survived many years of my overplanting the same beds with tomatoes, and the pathogens built up, and so I could never have a year where they weren't disease infected. So changing out the beds and changing the soil also is going to give me a clean slate there. But the other thing I'm doing right above that with my greenhouse, I've added a nursery area on the north side. I've expanded that growing area, and I'm going to have that under shade cloth because I love propagating. That's another passion of mine in addition to seed starting. So I have a lot of big plans for a native plant nursery to complement my seedlings of my tomatoes and peppers and the other things that we do already. So off the top of my head, that's my answer.
Awesome. Excellent. My question is who's that little, I want to say, who is that little thing rolling around? I see this dark kitty cat.
Larry.
There he is.
Larry's famous. Larry's got probably more following than I do. Larry's got a hashtag.
I know. I saw.
Larry the Garden Cat. Larry is like a dog. Larry. There you are. Hey, Larry.
He hears his name now.
Hi, Larry.
Like this. There you are.
Everybody in the chat, give an old hello to
Larry's a girl, by the way.
Larry's a girl. Okay, there we go. Perfect.
Larrie. But anyway, she follows me. I think she loves me because she just stares at me and hangs out with me and just follows me like a dog. And so that's why when I'm in the garden and we're filming, everybody always sees Larry making cameos because Larry's just hanging out with me. And it's amazing how she always cuts into the scene at the right time. I don't know where she learned that, but that's Larry. Long answer there. But yeah, Larry the Garden Cat.
Pleasure to meet her.
Yeah.
So those raised beds that you were talking about, are those the ones you just posted recently on Instagram, these raised beds, a series of raised beds on your property? Are those the new ones that you just put
Those
in?
are the new ones. And
they look great.
Thank you. We did a big YouTube video on that right after we sort of finished the first phase when they were all built and they were in my garden. I did a whole behind the scenes all the way through the building of it and teaching people how to do it. And what was really cool about that, when I, in a podcast earlier last year actually, I was mentioning that I was going to be I had to do it because my beds were rotting. I was going to be building new raised beds, but I wasn't sure what beds I was going to build yet. And if anybody wanted, this is on the podcast, and I kind of said it tongue in cheek, but I said, hey, if anybody wants to come down and help me, let me know. And I had two people. One was both were friends, but they heard me and they took me up on it. One drove from Michigan and gave me 5 days of his time, Pete, and he brought his tools and all of that. And then David Park was my other friend who drove down from Tennessee, and he designed the beds. he sent me an email out of the blue one day and say, "Hey, Joe, I heard you kind of mention what beds you wanted. I've kind of played around with a plan." He's really good with CAD design drawing on the computer. And he sent me an email of those beds that he conceived and designed in a diagram that looked like a photo of all of them in my actual bed and the actual layout of my other beds, and having me standing in the bed. And I'm looking at myself in this picture and I'm seeing those beds that I envisioned that he designed. And that's what we ended up doing. I emailed him right back and said, "You are amazing. These are the beds I want." And then he ended up coming down for 5 days too, and kind of oversaw the build and the design of it. Crazy. So that was in the video. I did a whole story on it. Yeah.
And sometimes with those things, it takes a little bit of a village, right? So it's nice to have your community, the support, people coming out. I mean, you're a busy guy, so that's really, really nice.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. I'm going to call on that village in the near future, because although those 16 raised beds are still empty and they need to have soil in them,
you got to get
just dreading. That's going to be a big job, but big jobs are made smaller with the help of more people. So,
and you've got Larry.
That's right. That's right. All right, here I'm gonna combine a couple of questions into one here. Okay. We're gonna be winding down here in a minute. We are a little bit late on our show today, but great to have you here with us, Joe. Thank you for even jumping in here and getting this interview and in with us anyways. But on the topic of those raised beds, though, real quick here, I'm gonna combine these together. Bernie's asking, what are your thoughts on hugelkultur for raised beds? And then David was also asking, what's the hardest part of that rebuild? Demolitions, leveling, or redesign?
Oh my gosh. Is all of the above an option? Because
exactly.
When I was filming the video and thinking, not even filming, but at the time I'm thinking, when I was just demolishing, doing the demolition part of it, I'm like, this is the hardest thing ever. And then I got to the rebar, which we pounded into the first course of the raised bed. So I'd ripped out all the beds and all the soil. And I was just down to the rebar. Well, in Georgia red clay, those 24-inch rebar stakes, trying to pull each of those out. And there were 118. I ended up counting them all when it was all said and done. That was like the hardest part of the job, is just getting those out. It would take
those are they go get suction, right? It's like
suction, and those little standout pieces on the rebar designed to really bite into the soil or the cement or the concrete. Anyway, that was the hardest thing. And then moving all the soil out was the hardest thing. And so now it's going to be the leveling, which you mentioned. I dread that before the filling. That has to happen before the filling. But I'm just looking out at those beds because they're kind of wonky with all the rain and everything. They're not level. And that's going to be the beds are heavy, and there's 16 of them, and they're large, and it's just me. So that's where I'll be. And then on the hugelkultur, I think that's a great concept. It's not for my design aesthetic, because it just, because of the TV and all the photography and everything, and who I am, I kind of like order, and I like everything a little more neat and tidy. But the hugelkultur is a great concept, and I am going to be incorporating that into these new raised beds by reusing and repurposing some of the wood that I tore out that was rotted. Well, it's untreated cedar that still has a function, and I can honor that wood by bringing it back and repurposing it in to the bottom of the beds to fill up some of that space, so I won't need as much soil to purchase as I backfill. And then as that wood degrades even further, it just becomes soil itself, and it's deep enough down into the bed so that even if it's pulling some nitrogen to break down some more, I don't think it's going to impact the roots very much. So I love the concept, and I'm trying to incorporate it as I can, even without technically it being hugelkultur. It's taking those principles.
Yeah, I'm more of like a hugelkultur mix of just kind of like, I'm looking for some filling if I've got a deep bed. I'm just throwing some sticks and branches and leaves and all sorts of stuff down there, just kind of fill out the bottom. So I don't know if it's necessarily hugelkultur or just throwing a bunch of junk in there to fill it all out. But in the long run, we're accomplishing the same thing. It's building microbiology, it's building that life, the fungi, all those sort of things that we need to start getting active inside there, and work its way in and work its way down,
Well, it's organic material. It's adding porosity and airspace, and roots need that. And eventually it becomes soil anyway, and the microbes need to eat, and it's a great input.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, now you got one good final question for our man Joe here tonight.
What's one thing you can share? One piece of advice that you'd share with a new gardener, someone looking to get started.
There you go.
Whether it's where do they start, or a perspective or a mindset they should have going into it. What's one piece of advice that you'd give to a new gardener?
Got it. Do not wait until you feel like you know enough to get started. The only way you're going to really learn is to be in the trenches. The best learning opportunities come from your, not mistakes, but I call them learning opportunities. But if you wait until you feel like you think you know enough to get started, you're going to miss a lot of great years of becoming a better, smarter, more confident gardener. And no one comes into gardening as an expert or as experienced. You only earn that over time. And every time you try something and it doesn't work out, celebrate it. The thing that you need to do, though, from that is to ask yourself, put your detective hat on and ask yourself, what is it about that process that didn't allow that to work out? And then start thinking through that through process of elimination and rule out the variables until you try to narrow it down to that one thing that probably was most likely, and then do some research and then apply that information going forward. Because once you're able to do that and you develop that mindset, it's power, and you
absolutely
can't help but become more confident. And
the learning never stops.
It never stops. The other thing I say is no matter how much you know, there's always more to learn, especially with gardening.
That's the best part. You got something to look forward to for the rest of your life.
Every day.
It's the best feeling. I know. I love it. Can't get enough.
That's the thing. And even all the wisest, gardeners I've ever talked to have done it for many years, 50 years and stuff, like our friend Gardener Scott, who comes on with us once a month. He's always telling people, I'm still learning things today. That's the best part of gardening, is that it just keeps that learning spirit alive in us throughout our lives, and year after year, season after season. So right on, man. Thank you so much, Joe, for, it's all right. It's no problem.
Yeah, what an honor it's been.
We're just kind of getting used to getting this show going anyways. So, it's the perfect timing for anything like that to go down. So thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Practice on me anytime. Yeah,
fortunately,
Natalie?
You're amongst gardeners where it's like the lifestyle where things always happen last minute. Things are always shifting and changing. So there's never anything to be sorry about. We're just glad we got to spend some time with you, and the audience got to pick your brain. And it's been such a pleasure to meet you and to connect. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Likewise, gardeners are good people. They're my people. And I love spending, I'm an introvert, but you get me around gardeners, I feel like a party animal. I love our people, So
exactly.
Thank you again.
That's why I've expanded out to 3 shows now. I just can't get enough of this stuff, and I'm just really so glad we got this new show now too, which gives us an opportunity to be able to have you here live with us, Joe. And that was really the big treat tonight, was just getting to talk with you here and to get to talk to you all about all these great gardening topics and learn just a little bit more from you.
Well, there's a lot more to talk about. So if you'll have me back, please invite me. And I would love to spend more time with you guys. And I promise next time I will have 8 calendar reminders and alarms ready to go. I will not be late.
No problem.
For sure. And this is a moment I am going to remember in my gardening journey, getting to chat with you. Because thank you.
Well, there'll be more conversations with all of us.
Absolutely,
Joe. We'll work on another date down the line in the calendar and catch up with how your growing season's going this year. We're just getting started. But thanks for helping us get started here on the Green Room with us tonight. It's just been such a pleasure. We look forward to the next time.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
and
again.
Bye, Larry.
Bye, Larry.
Bye.
We'll catch you later. All right, we'll see you later.
Thank you so much.
Ivory Organic was founded on the gardening concept of whitewashing, simply lightening your plants to better tolerate weather extremes, transplant shock, and so much more. Such a valuable gardening practice that farmers have been doing it since BC times. However, in recent years, most research has been caring for plants and trees using latex and tar-based products which are designed to last 100 years, but fall off your plants within 1 to 2 years as your plants grow, contaminating your garden soil indefinitely. Available in colors white or more natural looking colors such as brown, green, gray, and grayish. Ivy Organic has 2 general categories of whitewash products. The 3-in-1 Plant Guard, which includes 7 natural oils, including castor, cinnamon, clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint, which offer insect and rodent repellent protection, and the whitewash oil-free formula. Both products also have diatomaceous earth in the base ingredients, which naturally offer some insect repellent protection too. As always, keep growing with Ivy Organics, and wishing you all happy gardening.
Hey gardeners, thanks for tuning in to our show today. We'll be right back at it here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second here to highlight our regular videos and features here on the Urban Gardener channel. Our weekly garden journals, and our incredible featured visits.
All right, Natalie, here we are. Let's wind down our our first, I guess, real official, but we're kind of still just kind of getting this launched up and going, as you could tell through today's show. And it was so awesome that Joe made it, you know what I mean, in the long run there.
It worked out. It allowed us to get a little bit warmed up, get to know you a little bit,
Right, exactly.
It was good. And you know what? I feel like it helped the lightning round serve a purpose, right? Because we just got right into it. It all worked out. He had fun.
Exactly. And he was again too, and it kind of comes from that purpose. We're just going to get you going. We're going to throw you right at it and get right into it and everything. And having him kind of already scrambling to get on and everything too. We really caught him at the right moment.
Yeah, I saw a comment in the chat saying the heartbeat was a little much. So sorry if we made you anxious, guys. That's the whole point.
Exactly, right?
But yeah, what a wonderful conversation. A really, really meaningful conversation. Learned so much, and I can't wait to chat with him again, and also just chat with other fellow gardeners on next week's show.
Yeah, really too, and like I was saying with Joe too, he's one of the reasons why I was so glad he could help us get this all started and going and everything is because he's been such a big inspiration to me and in the things that I've done in my garden adventure out here in the world on the Urban Gardener channel here on the Let's Get Growing show. And a lot of that too is, on the inspiration of folks like Joe and, and everything too. So it was so awesome to be able to start off with that. But like you said, we got some new shows. We are running a bit late today. So sorry, everybody, how everything worked out. We're going to usually try to keep it under 2, but we are a little late because we wanted to make sure we got a nice, good, solid interview like we plan on doing with the rest of our guests as we move forward here with the Green Room.
My lights may go out at any minute.
Maybe. I know. Someone left a comment. I don't know where it was. Let me see.
Yeah, my light is starting. My lights are slowly. It's the sunset right now.
That's right. Natalie's going to be going out on.
I might be in the dark in just a couple minutes. So.
All right. Well, let's run through this real quick here and talk real quick about what we got coming up, and then we'll let everybody go for the evening. And we've got more fantastic shows for you coming up here on the Green Room, especially. We'll start with that, and then I'll work back to what we're going to be doing on the weekend, though, as well, too. But because we are here on the Green Room, we'll talk about what we're doing next week. And I just thought about this, too, as we're getting ready to talk about all this stuff, is that I forgot to tell you who we got on next week.
That's okay. I like surprises.
Here you
I fly
are.
by the seat of my pants. That's how I roll. So let's hear it. Who's the guest?
Who
Drum
we
roll,
got
please.
coming up next week? Well, next week, what we're going to do again, we also have a bunch of contributors here who contribute, like we saw last week with Shawnee and Robin and Katrina joining with us to talk about Grow What You Eat and all of that. But we're also going to try to bring other contributors here too, who also contribute to other segments like In the Garden. And we also have a new person contributing for our trivia that we do on our Saturday show. So this next Monday, we're going to be joined by Brandy from the Suburban Gardenista, and then we're going to see Michael from the Garden Nerd. He's going to join with us as well too. So we're going to get to our more, and again, this is roundtable. There's 3 people, but we're going to get to this kind of roundtable format that we're doing here on the Green Room, and have some great discussions with them. Michael's really awesome. You're going to enjoy talking with him. Brandy, again, she's been doing an awesome job with the trivia so far over the first couple of weeks. So I'm excited to be out bringing her on for a nice, fun conversation with us as well. There they go.
Yeah, that's okay. Last ones are coming up, so
what do you got coming up? What do you got coming up on the Fresh Princess real quick before I say anything about Saturday and Sunday?
Green Tower is going to start filling up. Going to get I got all my seedlings ready to go. Kale, lettuce, bunch of herbs. I got my new flower starts, snapdragons, zinnias, cosmos, poppies. We're going to try all kinds of new stuff this week in the bucket. So it's going to be an exciting week. Come find me on my live streams.
Yes, indeed. Go check out Natalie's. Just like I said, one of the things that's so fun about having you here is just now I can really follow along with everything you got going on.
Now you have no excuse for not knowing what's going on in my garden.
But right on. And also everybody to come and join with us this next weekend. Again, we're a 3-day weekend, gardening weekend here on the Urban Gardener channel, the Let's Get Growing show next weekend. This is a big one, new thing we started doing last year. And this has been so fun, Natalie. We are doing these things we call a community show. And this is where you, the audience, are the guest. Yes, that's right. All of you out there are the guests, sort of like one of those radio call-in shows where you can call in and be on the radio and talk to the host and do all that sort of stuff. This is the same thing, except for it's video. We're going to hook up here. So next Saturday, if you want to, come on and say hi, talk about what you've got growing on in your garden, or maybe you have a small channel and you want to get a little shout out. You want to talk about what you got growing on in your channel and all that sort of stuff. That's what exactly these community shows are for. Maybe you know a small channel who might like the opportunity to come onto the show and get a shout out and all that sort of stuff. So definitely let them know about our community show next Saturday, again, where you all are the guest. And then next Sunday, on the Sunday edition of Let's Get Growing, we're going to have another appointment with our in-house doctor. Dr. Jeff is going to be joining with us. Dr. Jeffrey Pierce, medical MD. This is a real doctor, Natalie, and he's here to talk with us. He loves gardening, and he loves talking about how our gardens can help improve our health. And we talk about gardening as medicine, and we'll be doing that next Sunday with Dr. Jeff.
Beautiful. All good things up ahead. Can't wait.
So many awesome things, so many great things. And everybody, thank you so much for being here. Natalie, thank you for hanging out with us a little bit later into the evening than what we really wanted to do.
That's okay.
We did get
That's
that
show
awesome
business. That's the way it goes.
And live streaming when it comes down to it, again, it's just, we're just getting started with this. We're just having fun. We're just fine tuning things and putting things together. And we really appreciate all of you coming along with us to do that.
For sure. And thanks to everybody in the chat for spending a couple hours with us, hanging out and being a part of the meaningful conversation. So thank you guys so much. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope everyone has a great start to their week.
All right. Okay. Real quick, before you head out, everybody hit that like button, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and follow all the links down below in the description to our guests. And if you can't go over to Joe Gardner, go somewhere, go to Shawnee Grows, or go somewhere there, jump into one of their videos and comments and let them know you saw them here on the Let's Get Growing show and the Green Room and all of that as well. And Natalie, we're gonna have fun next week. I'll see you then.
We'll see you then. We're not just growing plants, we're growing the community. So let's grow.
Yeah, that's right. Continue to grow community with us here on the Green Room. We look forward to seeing all of you next week. And I guess we'll see all of you then.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
power out,